This guy just lost it coming out of the
Upon winning a very brutal 1992 Indy 500 by just the slimmest of margins, ABC Victory Lane reporter Jack Arute asked Al Unser Jr., "There sounds like there's some tears in your voice right now." Al Jr. pauses, but with little hesitation says, "You just don't know what Indy means." In those 7 words, little Al summed up what every other driver who has visited Victory Lane felt and what motivates every future driver aiming to be in the same place. To know what Indy means is to win at Indy and nothing less. However, to get there, drivers will find out that Indy is accumulation of a perfect recipe that, when expertly mixed, can bring you one step closer to immortality at the Brickyard. Indy is a spectacle. In the real world, Indy is the largest single-day gathering of humanity to witness a sporting event. In the virtual world, thousands of drivers this weekend will have nothing less on their mind than finishing and winning the fixed Indy 500. Indy means speed. In the real world, only 33 of the best and fastest make the race. In the virtual world, you're slotted alongside your peers. Some may be longtime IndyCar vets, while others are still looking to shed their rookie stripes. Indy means danger. Here and in the real world, few drivers get as nervous as they do at the start of the Indy 500. The experienced drivers know it's a marathon, not a sprint, that danger can be around the next corner. It takes all of your skill and courage to pilot your car from the start up to the front, and if and only if it's your day on the victory lane. Indy means to struggle. We share this with our real-world idols. Indy brings the extreme lows of the agonies of defeat to the extreme highs to the thrill of the victory. This happens only once a year, so failure is devastating, while success is the ultimate adrenaline boost. Indy is a celebration, much like our real-world heroes of Castro Neves, Sato, Pagano, Power, Rossi, Montoya, Kanaan, and Dixon, who will all be attempting the same feat for real. Indy is a celebration of being the best. Tonight, 33 drivers from all around the world representing multiple driving disciplines have accepted the challenge. 500 miles, 200 laps on a blistering hot track. Their focus? To be the first across a strip of paint and a yard of bricks. All will try, but only one will enter victory lane. The planning, the testing, the tweaking of all the settings all accumulates now. Now, all that is left is the spectacle, the speed, the danger, the struggle, and the celebration. Now you have a better idea what Indy means, and now it's time for the official iRacing Fixed Indy 500 Bottom Split. Hello again, everybody. For Race First, I am Gary Gonzo, and you're looking live at the world's greatest virtual race course, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, as we are just moments away from letting loose 33 drivers as they attempt to forever etch their name in the iRacing database as a winner of one of the fixed Indy 500s of 2022. I'd like to welcome all of you to our race day coverage of the 9 p.m. Eastern Time opening session bottom split on this Friday, May the 13th. As always, joining me in the booth for expert analysis, he is my broadcast partner from our Monday night Indy Fixed Top Split coverage. He is a two-time Indy winner, one official fixed win and one league win from the NHR eSports team in the Lionheart IndyCar Series presented by Butt Kicker is Stephen Larkamp. You can say hi, Stephen. There you go.
Hello, everybody. And I think it's safe to say that, well, we all know the words of Al Unser Jr. when he won here in '92. You just don't know what Indy means. Having won this race in really on a strategy call back in 2019 in third split, I can safely say I know what Indy means, and it's always special, whether in real life or in the virtual world. A win at the Brickyard is always something you will cherish. And for one of these guys tonight, now, a lot of people might say, why aren't we looking at the big guns here? Why aren't we looking at the top split guys? Well, in our humble opinion, they've kind of gotten enough bragging rights from us lately, especially
right.
looking at what we do in the Indy Fixed broadcast. We see the big guys, Adriano Pineros, your Pablo Diaz-Francises, your Robert Malechkas, and even more up there, including a few guys I raced with in the Lionheart Series as well. And actually, one of said drivers is actually here in the booth with us tonight. But this is a chance to see some of the more up-and-coming talent, perhaps, in the series and in IndyCar competition, and maybe even a few guys who this is their first ever race in an IndyCar. And we're here to cheer them on. We're here to see where they can improve, where things are good for them, where things can be better for them. But more than anything else, we're here to see someone crown a sim racing dream tonight.
Well, we've got two driver experts with us tonight. First, he is a fellow Hoosier and teammate in the Lionheart Speedway Series presented by Moser Racing. He's a former Revolution IndyCar League Schaefer's IndyCar Series champion. He's a five-time Indianapolis Oval winner with two coming in the Fixed 500. From Team Racers and Sunset Arctic Games and Graphics, please welcome Dakota the Maid. Dakota, you can say hi.
Hello, everyone. Happy to be here in the booth tonight.
And we'll let you get some more in here in just a sec, but we'll get our next driver expert in here. Next, he is a three-time reigning and defending champion of the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series. He has 5 Indy Oval wins to his credit in league competition. From the Team Adrenaline squad of Powerslide Motorsports and the Lionheart IndyCar Series presented by Butt Kicker, where he sits currently in second place in the overall driver standings. Please welcome Alex Van de Sant.
Hi, everyone. Glad to be here. First time doing a broadcast, so yeah, looking forward to it.
So we kind of talked about this a little bit before, and you could rehash on some of this stuff, Stephen. We've got about 5 minutes left here in practice. But real quickly, gentlemen, when Al Unser Jr. said you don't know what Indy means, he clearly had an idea of what Indy means to him. Stephen, and then going on to Dakota and then Alex, what does Indy mean to you guys individually?
Well, Indy for me is, Indy was one of the races that I got into the racing world properly into. It started with Formula One for me, and then it moved to sports cars, and then eventually Indianapolis when I truly grew to appreciate it. This was back in my high school years. And more than anything else, when I started iRacing and I drove an Indy car around the Brickyard for the first time, I knew I wanted to compete in the 500 every year and I wanted to win. And I'm thankful that I can say that I have an Indy 500 win in iRacing to my credit. And that is, and like I said, it was in 2019 in third split. And it was a race where I actually started from pit road and worked my way up through the field.
That is a sound strategy.
It could well be here tonight also. And worked my way up there. I was running 6th with about 20 laps to go. And I'm thinking, okay, I could get another top 5 because I was the eternal bridesmaid for a few years at that point. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. But then the top 4 drivers all pitted, and I had enough fuel to make it to the end. And the guy in front of me was nursing a slightly wounded race car. I'm thinking to myself, oh my Lord, I can actually make this work. And it turns out I did. And to say what Indy means to me, I was cheering over the speakers when I was crossing the checker flag. And then to cap it all off, when I went out later that year, a couple months later, to the IndyCar race at Iowa Speedway to meet up with guys in the Lionheart IndyCar Series, on my way back, I went for a ride. And I stopped over in Indianapolis, went to the Brickyard, and I had the chance to actually kiss the yard of bricks in the year I won the Indy 500. I still have a picture of it, and I will probably cherish that picture as long as I live.
Hey, Dakota, what about you?
To me, Indy has always been about two things. One is tradition. There's a ton of tradition going on Memorial Day weekend in terms of this race. And the second one is the need for speed. There's nothing like seeing a car go 230 plus miles an hour, just screaming into turn one. And just, these drivers are putting their lives on the line sometimes on these races. And it's just an amazing engineering feat, an amazing feat of daredevil skills that these drivers have, and just absolutely going all out that you can for 200 laps.
Alex, go ahead. Go ahead and finish it up.
And iRacing really captures that racing spirit that these drivers have. So yeah, that's about all I have.
No worries. We'll get back to you with plenty of time to talk about stuff.
There's no doubt about it. The racing spirit is definitely here in the virtual world, Alex. You got that right.
Alex, Indy, what's it mean to you? You've been in many of these and won many of these in league competition.
Yeah, well, the one thing I don't have is Indy 500 win. I've won a 500-mile race before, a U.S. 500, but never at Indianapolis so far. But motorsports is my life. I've grown up just involved in the industry. I have family members working for IndyCar. I've been to countless races throughout my lifetime, but Indy is always the most special every year. If my count is right, I'll be going to my 16th or 17th this year.
You're catching up to me, man. You're catching up to me.
But yeah, it's it's always held a special place in my heart. So for me, it's about family and the memories that I've built up all these years coming to the Speedway.
So
Is it fair to say I'm a bit jealous because I've only been to 2 Indy 500s in real life?
I've been to 25, so you got a little ways to go, but you're catching up quickly. So a quick program note about tonight. I know there's many of you asking why the bottom split. Are we going to sit here for 200 laps and make fun of people? Are we going to sit here and not take this seriously? Are we going to be disrespectful of someone's hard effort? And is this just another ARCA Break Weekly, but for IndyCar? And the answer to all these questions is no. We're going to have fun tonight. We might have a lap or two, but we want everyone at home to realize that everyone tonight is trying their very best. We're going to take this as serious as we would of any of our other broadcasts. We do realize at the bottom split there are probably people here making their first ever IndyCar start. But, do you know that, how many other drivers in the real world that have made their first IndyCar start in the Indy 500? Let's take 20-time World of Outlaw champion Steve Kinzer. His first IndyCar start was in the 97 Indy 500. How about Cup champion Kurt Busch? His first IndyCar start was in the 2014 Indy 500. Those are just a couple names. So tonight's theme really is everyone has a place to start, or they need a place to start. So let's give all these guys the respect they deserve. Now, as we are about 10 seconds away from getting ready to grid up for tonight's main event, let's talk about race versus keys to the race. So my 3 keys, and I asked each one of us to submit 3 keys, and we'll talk about them here in just a second. My 3 keys is to get through the start. And the one thing that with the setup that we always see, even though the setup's been changed, is getting through that first turn on starts and restarts without a car further on back getting loose and, taking out half the field. Second key to the race, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And the third key to the race, survive the lap 70 and race home. Go ahead, real quickly, your keys to the race there, Steven.
So for me, my first key is keep the car going and minimize errors. As Bobby Rahal has been noted as saying, you run the first 450 miles to sprint that last 50. You want to preserve your equipment as good as you possibly can. My second is watch out for the infamous aero push, which is a common feature of the Indy cars here. We always like to say that we're trying to find the clean air when we're racing these things, and that's certainly true here. It's no different. And my third is risk versus reward. And this can take several factors. One is whether to make that pass or not when you have that chance. And the other is your strategy calls here. What is going to get you the best net results? It could be up in the air in some regards, but there's some ways that you can definitely make things work by your actions alone.
Dakota, your keys to the race.
Usually for Indy, my most important keys are track position and pit strategy. You always kind of want to find a way to get up front, stay up front. Pit strategy, maybe you want to pit early, maybe you want to extend as long as you can, and kind of, maybe a yellow will fall in your favor and you can get up front. And we're gonna see some yellows tonight. So that'll be another key, is surviving the attrition to these yellows that are gonna come out as well.
Alex, real quick, we got to get to the starting lineup. Your keys to the race.
Main thing is fuel strategy. Like Dakota said, you need to get up front. Then as well, the tire strategy. The tire wear is going to be a big factor tonight, especially if we get some long runs, which hopefully we see that. But then, of course, none of that matters if you don't make it to the end of the race. So you gotta survive, and to finish first, and first must finish.
Classic words. So for tonight's starting lineup, Steven Larkamp. You got a half a lap.
Cale James and Keith Long will be your front row tonight. J.R. Hager and Diego Agustin Bustamante, row 2. Row number 3 will be James Ellis and Piotr Margula. Row 4, Kyle Freeman and Joshua Ashley. 5th row will be Mitchell McIntyre and Jorge Rascon. Christopher West and Travis Johnson in row 6. Christian Volzel and Curtis Kurzich in row 7. Cody Keller and Steve Brooks, row 8. Robert Carroll and Regis Montebello, row 9. Devin Chase and Denny Dodgems will be row 10, rounding out your top 20. 21, John Gorshals and Waylon Miller, row number 11. Row 12, Andrew Scholler and Eduardo Donoso. John Falzer and Gregory Barwick. John Gorshals, James R. Hartley, James Portlois, Robert and Ronald Hall, Travis Corbett, and Bradley Mays are your 32 drivers. And just in time for the pace car to peel off, Cale James gets on the throttle, green flag flies, the Indianapolis 500 is go, and he has got a massive lead going into one cut, the rest of the field sleeping. As they head into turn number 1 now. Oh, and Keith Long getting bustled up high there. J.R. Hager with the move up into second place. As Bustamante trying to hold on the third, he does so, but a terrible start right now for Keith Long as he falls back just outside the top 5 even.
Like 2 cars started from the pits. The battle is on. Spectacle, speed, danger, struggle, celebration. We all now know what Indy means. And now it's underway. 200 laps to find out the answer to the question, who's going to win the night. And we are now, looks like a really clean start. Despite
turn 3. Turn 4.
Okay,
I see John Gorgel from the wall off of turn 4.
Yeah, Jordan Gorgel. And that we are now under caution. Did you get out of there in time? No, it looks like we are under caution. Your car's not under power right now. Let's take a look at that incident real quick and find out what happened. He's in one of the Team Penske livery cars. Multiple cars were involved in that one. Let's see what happens. Anybody has a anything they want to mention on this one?
Trying to pick out who else was involved. I see Jorge Rascon involved as well, perhaps.
Oh, and he just pushed right up into the wall and washed up right in front of someone else. Looks like he took them out. And as he came down the track, took out another car. So already 2 laps in and 3 cars down. I was getting ready to say maybe I jinxed us early. Maybe we had a bit of a clean start, but we started making up for that. So 2 guys did start from the pit, so we'll look at that here in a bit. But now that we're already under caution, when do we start thinking about conserving fuel? I mean, do we always think about conserving fuel, Alex?
Always, yeah. So with this car, you can you get a couple fuel maps. They're mostly useful for more used on road courses, but they are very effective on ovals. So you can just sacrifice a little bit of engine power to burn less fuel throughout the lap. Now you also get map 8, and that'll save you a ton of fuel, but you just lose all of the power. I call it the Alexander Rossi fuel map because it's probably what he was running when he won on his debut there with that fuel save race. So yeah, as soon as the caution comes out, put it into map 8 and just cruise.
Number hitting pit road right now. Currently, we have the camera on. Let's go ahead and get the follow up here. This is Christopher West in a Red Bull livery-looking car. I have another car that is on pit road, and James Ellis, like he might be in a. That looks like it might be an old Formula One livery, and then also on pit road is Robert Carroll in the 17 Sunoco car, the Sunoco Special, making an appearance here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the first time in a long time. Of course, that's the car that Donahue drove when he got his first win here in 1972. It's a Sunoco Special.
Always nice to see a classic livery back in Indianapolis, whether or not it's in the virtual world or not. I always love to see the old school paint schemes on new cars here in iRacing. It's great that the community behind the paintwork do awesome jobs recreating the liveries that you see. I'm even seeing second place J.R. Hager running a Aero McLaren livery right now.
Yeah, I got a lot of them out there. I see some Formula One throwbacks. I see some current Indy cars. Yeah, it's a great job that guys are making a whole event out of it by bringing something special to the racetrack. Let's see. Hager takes a pump fake down low, decides he's not going to go to pit road. Your top 3 is James Hager and Bustamante. Bustamante is up 1 spot from his start. Biggest gainer of the race. We got a couple of them. Here's Cody Keller, and he's in that Andretti Autosport livery there in P7. He's up 8 spots. Regis Monteballer, he is up 9 spots. Danny Dodgems, he's up 10. Andrew Schuler up 12. The biggest one is James Portalease. He's up 17 spots. Again, some of that is just making passes on the racetrack when you can, and other things are cars pitting in front of them, and they're just making up some spots that way. But still, nevertheless, a good way to start off the race.
And another factor I saw as well in the case of John Gorschel's, who was involved in that incident, he was slowing down on the backstretch on lap 1, trying to let cars pass him. So I think his idea was to just drop to the back and just coast for a long time and let attrition take its toll. Unfortunately for him, it really didn't work out too well. But now we're 1 lap to green once more. Cale James and J.R. Hager, I'm noticing a lot of drivers behind them are lagging behind the 2 leaders, and we're not quite gotten ourselves into order quite yet.
Again, this might be a little bit of the inexperience. A lot of drivers by this point in time and a lot of league competition are already up against that retaining wall, protecting the right side of their cars from being passed here on the start. These guys are pretty laissez-faire at the moment. We'll see they tighten it up here as we come to green.
Oh, they just wrecked under caution.
Uh-oh.
Kyle Freeman got run over by Joshua Ashley there.
I saw John Portalease having to take evasive action as well.
Askew, and we're still going to go green, so he needs to get off the racetrack. And right behind him, Joshua Ashley, he's wisely going to pit.
That's going to be a black flag. Oh, he just died. And I think he hit Alt F4 to leave the sim.
Okay, and we'll watch Kyle Freeman here. He does. I don't know if he knows he has a bad back wing because he's going to hit turn 1, and this car's not going to do anything for him.
Well, now he does.
And there it goes.
Now he does.
There
It goes round and 1.
He stays down low.
He keeps it on the apron. That will keep us green unless he comes back up.
Yeah, a little bit of a J.J. Yaley type spin there from 98. Looks like we are still green at the moment. Yes, we are still green, and Cale James continues the lead here as he's pulling away about a half second over Hager.
Very good start from Cale James. J.R. Yeager right in his wheel tracks. Bustamante staying with them right now. Gap at the line was about 0.4 of a second there. Hager is catching up to James right now. He left a large gap there, and we'll have to see if he can really close up to the back here, because this is going to, because pretty soon we're going to have to be dealing with, caution's out once more.
Okay, so that is
I see James Portalease in the wall in turn number 2.
Oh, Oh! Yeah, it looks like James Hartley currently is grabbing his car in one of the short chutes at the moment. Let's do a rewind here and see what happened. Now back to the driver that was wanting traffic to get by him. Wouldn't it have just been easier to start from the pits in that situation? Okay, and it looks like he got run over by the 31. That's Travis Corbett. Watch here in turn 1. He comes in. And he was even staying high. It looks like Corbett just pushed right up into him and ran right on into him. And that is day done, unfortunately, for both of these guys. No fast repairs here. And almost takes out another car trying to wobble his car back straight. Well, another car on pit road. Missed his pit trying to back in. And again, everybody needs a place to start, folks. So it's not, let's get on these guys too much. Everybody needs a place to start.
So, just an update on the incident coming to the green. It looks like, to me, Joshua actually had an issue with maybe VR or his screen's going black, and so he just did his best to get off the track before green. Unfortunately, he had no time to get out of the way of the 7. Looks like the 7 was able to get back to the pits, and he might get this back out without going a lap down.
And we're watching him right now.
As soon as the yellow came out, the pits were closed, and Kyle Freeman went under pit road while it was closed.
And I see he had stepped out of that number 7 machine, though, so it may be that that he has received a penalty, and he's naturally frustrated by that. It's always a gut-wrenching feeling to get a penalty, especially at Indianapolis, and especially since the penalties can be particularly harsh in iRacing. A 40-second penalty for what in most other racing series would be just a stop and go. So it's all the more irritating to go through, and I'm not surprised that Kyle Freeman has stepped out of that race car right now.
But it's not impossible. And we just go back to 1985 and look at that, where Jacques Villeneuve came back from 2 laps down to due to a penalty. He I guess inadvertently passed the pace car. Even though he let the pace car back by, USAC decided to give him a 2-lap penalty, and through strategy, they were able to get those 2 laps back, and well, thanks to Scott Goodyear, he actually got the win that year from Scott Goodyear passing the pace car on the restart. So it even happens to the best of us sometimes, but yeah, if you be patient, you can get your laps back here, but it takes some work. And one of the things here we'll talk about that you will see in other series, there's no lucky dogs here. There's no green-white checker. We're not going to do double file restarts. None of those other gimmicks that you see in other series. The only thing that you will see here in IndyCar racing, and it's the pace car. The pace car always picks up the leader under caution. If the leader pits under caution and the next car behind him is a lap down, so he cannot pit because the pit road is not open to him or her, that car can stay out, and then with 2 to go, that car is allowed around the pace car, so they'll get the wave around, or they will get to rejoin the field at the tail end of the field. So that is the one thing IndyCar does allow, is the wave around.
Indeed, and that's something that a lot of these hopefuls will be praying for going forward at this point. Unfortunately, for the time being, we're only working lap number 8 here, and the pit window would normally open around lap 20 or so to get this done in a 6-stop race. So it's going to be a little bit of time before they really seriously consider that. But for those that are patient, that could well be their saving grace tonight.
It's beginning to kind of look to me, Alex, that these top 4 are kind of maybe possibly, as we're going to see more of course, if more laps get into this, but the top 4 might be in a class of their own. Would it be in their best interest to possibly start working together and possibly putting as much distance between themselves and the rest of the pack so they could decide this race amongst themselves here in the last 30 laps or so?
Yeah, probably. If we get a run going, if you're up front, just be smart. It's a 500-mile race. So there's a long way to go. That said, if it's looking like there's going to be a lot of cautions, you might just want to take it easy anyway, or try to get that track position early on too. Usually here you'll see, at least in iRacing, people will swap draft, we call it. So the car behind will get a big run down one straight and pass the leader into turn one, and then on the next straight, the previous leader will get a big run and pass him back, and so they'll just swap every straightaway, and that you'll usually go 3 to 4 tenths faster a lap, depending on the setup and the conditions. So we'll see what these guys are able to do.
I call it leapfrogging.
Leapfrogging, yep.
Either way.
Indeed. And once again here, as we're one lap to green, James and Hager running pretty close up to the pace car, but Bustamante and Margula in the pack, they're holding back a little bit. Now they're starting to catch up a little bit. Starting to get ourselves into order before our restart. We're going to be restarting on lap number 10 of 200. It's a long night ahead of us, and the patient ones will see the checkered flag, it would seem, as we wait for the pace car to peel off once more. And James gets on the throttle again. Green flag flying, and he gets a great launch again over Hager. And Bustamante also gets a great run. He's looking to take advantage and make a move for second. Not quite enough, however. But Bustamante tucking in behind that number 3 machine. And now Hager lost a ton of time on that restart there. James out to a comfortable gap right now. He's got all the work to do to try and close up on the lead.
Like the top 10 is pretty much well spaced at the moment. Just probably want to get some laps under the belt at this point in time.
Indeed, everyone here. We certainly don't want the majority of the race to be under yellow, and neither do the drivers. They want to get themselves running, turn some laps, burn some fuel, make some passes maybe even. And if we can get a good green flag run started, it can bode well for a lot of these guys later on. And the old saying that cautions breed cautions is definitely true, but if we get long green flag runs, the racing does tend to be better, and I find that to be rather universal when I race.
Yeah. A shot on the backstretch of a couple cars battling here for 19th and 20th. Devin Chase and Christopher West side by side going into 3. Like West is going to get that position. Chase not going to quite give that up as easy as probably West thought he would, but he manages to get the pass off nevertheless. Moves himself inside the top 20.
And Chase and West are among those drivers that is going to be hoping for the wave around to play into their favor. They're one lap down at this point, already working lap 12. We have 18 cars left on the lead lap. We still have some that are a lap down, though, so these guys are going to be hoping that we get a caution. Oh.
It is John Gorshals.
Oh, yeah, he is grinding up
he
against
is.
the wall right now. And
there's nobody behind him.
He needs to get, eject out of that. He needs to tow. He needs to tow.
Leader's coming through turn 2
okay,
now.
He's good.
Okay.
No caution, it looks like, but that was a long wait there.
Very fortunate for the rest of us that we didn't get that caution there, but another a tough moment there for John Gorshals. But James and Hager right now about half a second back on James, but he in turn has a 1.5 second lead over Diego Bustamante in third, and he has a 1 second lead over Margula in fourth, and he has about half a second over Christian Vorsel in fifth. So these guys got themselves pretty spaced out right now, turning some laps right here. And of course, as much as many of them may be tempted to go for track position right now, and they may be frustrated by being behind a car, they should realize very quickly that this is a marathon, not a sprint, as we've said before. And they got to get themselves in the mindset of just turn laps, hit your fuel numbers, and get yourself to the end of this race, and a good finish will be in the offering.
We've got a slow car out of turn 2.
Yeah, it looks like they might have wrecked in the short shoot there. Everything's still green for now.
I believe one of them was Eduardo Donoso was one of the cars involved in that one. He was running 10th.
Let's take a look here in the Wayback Machine, see what happened.
Oh, yeah, he caught the wall in the short shoot between 1 and 2. and almost takes another car with him who was scared about where he was going to go. And I think that other driver couldn't quite tell who that was, brushed up against the wall in turn number 2.
I think he might have caught maybe the cement down in the apron area and caused his car to kind of get loose and scoot up the track, max the wall, and the other drivers.
We have another car stopped on the back straight as well. They just towed back.
It's happening all over the place.
Robert Carroll in the Sunoco car.
Oh, the Sunoco special.
He spun out. He spun out on his own coming out of 2. Didn't hit the wall. He did hit the wall, inside wall.
So what is that mainly a sign of, though? I mean, my experience is that's too much weight, Jacker.
Yeah, he didn't clip the apron, so I think that's too much weight, Jacker. Glossed it on exit, couldn't correct it in time, and ends up wrecking his car. It's unfortunate.
And that's certainly something that you gotta be mindful. Of course, these cars will more often than not drive the way you did when you started the run, and it's always worth it in practice to run a full fuel load, to run a full stint of fuel to figure out how the car will behave later on in the going. As I think we had a bit of a blink there for our race leader, Cale James. He has returned right now, so
yeah,
no worries right now for our race leader.
He has a very dicey connection from Australia and New Zealand, where it's tomorrow there today. And so we know about racing those guys from the other regions and the bad ping times, and where one moment they're there and one moment they're not, and then they may or may not return after that in the second place car into the wall, J.R. Hager.
Oh, that was...
Leaders have traffic as well.
Yes, Keith Long was very slow on the track, and the leaders were approaching him.
Oh, no. And
that is a classic arrow push. That is a classic arrow push right there.
The number 13 car, Christian Volbel, is also hit the wall.
And he slammed into the back of the number 6 of Piotr Margula, who was running in 4th. So unfortunately, a single car incident turns into a multi-car incident due to simple misunderstanding of where the driver was at, and some of the fast cars are out of the running.
Bustamante, man, he talked about... Take a look at this on the replay, guys. Threading the flipping needle. Let's even do an in-car on that one. Whoa, that is a classic Code Brown right there. Let's do a... we'll take a look on his roll cage here. There he goes. He sees the guy into the wall. He watches him. Oh, he's coming back up. He's coming back up. Stop, stop, stop. Oh! And actually, Netcode said he hit something, but it snaps back into place.
And while all of this was happening, Curtis Crutch spun out of turn 4. And he has taken it down pit road.
Yeah, and he is currently sitting on pit road right now.
A lot of things going on at once.
Yeah, a lot of things. And he's back underway, it looks like.
Indeed, everything really is happening all at once here. We're only working lap number 19 right now, and sadly, it takes a few of the fast runners out tonight. It's always gut-wrenching, and for Bustamante, I can imagine he's... I don't think he imagined it would be this early until he may worry about the state of his underwear right now.
Well, look at Regis Monteballer, man. He has worked his way up 15 spots, and he is currently in P3. And he might be doing the right thing. He might be getting all the track position he can, staying on the track as long as possible, and getting ahead of a lot of these incidents.
So, just for the record, the fuel save window is well and truly open now. You would need to do 31 lap stints to the end, and which is fairly easy to hit in traffic. And usually you get 29 laps. So, might see some people make a fuel strategy call here.
Could very well happen here, and we are definitely in that pit window. And this could be the point where certain strategies will divulge. And I'm seeing, as I'm actually noticing, the 22 of Waylon Miller is just sitting on the apron at the pit exit. And now he gets things going. Now he gets things going.
Yeah.
Interesting. Not too sure what happened to that number 22 machine. He seems relatively undamaged. And it seems like he just pulled it off in the middle
it
of
could
the
be any number of things using adjusting the VR headset. We've seen some people actually go out and stop the car on track to go to the restroom. I don't think we're going to see anything that blatant here. But yeah, any number of things he could have done to possibly correct while needing to stop. I've run into some situations sometimes where it involves maybe having to check the VR. Sometimes, for whatever reason, my fuel app needs to be reset. Sometimes crew chief doesn't start when I thought I started it. You know, and it's really hard, especially when you're in VR, to work your hand over to your mouse and then try to find that icon and get that to work. So maybe that's what he was doing. But he's back underway. I mean, he's in P14 and he's rejoining the tail end of the field at the moment.
Now he's likely being waved around some of the cars there who are waiting for him to catch back up.
Yeah, now that's going to be a problem if his waiting there ends up getting a lot of cars black flag because of passing under caution. That can turn into something protestable.
It certainly can be, and hopefully for his sake that it doesn't affect too many drivers right now. But through all of this, it looks like through the people that he's going to be waved by, he's going to be in the top 10 with this still.
Yeah.
Oh, just as I say that, he actually clipped the 9 of Mitchell McIntyre, and that is damage to that number 9 machine as well.
Now let's check this out, see what happened. We saw it here just on the, let's do,
Yeah, it looks like he was just trying to get around cars to get his position back.
I'm hearing on the radio.
Yeah, you should be taking that on the radio. That coming through, and and that's terminal right there. That is terminal for Mitchell McIntyre, who was running in the top 10. That was
a I would say that's pretty sketchy, to be charitable towards the whole situation here. It's always good to say to people that you're coming back up to regain your position. It's good to communicate with these guys. And unfortunately, what I was hearing over the radio, they are not particularly happy with that situation, especially Mitchell McIntyre, who it seems like it's game over.
Yeah, and the thing is, the cars behind him can't pass him, and he's still rolling, and we're coming to green, so pretty much the top 6 are going to get a jump on everybody. While P7 has to wait for McIntyre to duck into the pits. And we're back underway.
McIntyre has brought it on the pit road, but it is still Cale James who has led from the pole. He leads the way still. Diego Bustamante now is the driver running behind him as they work their way around a car coming off of pit road. And Regis Montbeller probably loving the position he's in right now. Started 18th, currently running third.
Look at this train behind currently right now Gregory Barwick. Barwick, for whatever reason, is maybe he did not restart an engine map 1 or something, but he was really holding up the entire field going through turns 1 and 2, and now everyone is going to start freight training them right here down the front stretch.
Yeah, there's a lot of ducking and weaving there, and I'm actually noticing his speeds there. He was sub 200 miles an hour in some of the corners there, and that is never, never, never something you want to see at Indianapolis these days. But Gregory Barwick lost a ton of positions with that whole exchange here. That may be that he was in the wrong fuel map, perhaps, and I'm not sure if he's found the way to correct it yet. Perhaps he has right now as he's under pressure.
I think he has.
Now I think he has figured it out, yes. As he gets passed by the final car in that train right now. But I'm noticing one of the cars that did pass him was one of the cars involved in that incident a little bit ago, Piotr Margula, who after that incident, after he was slammed from behind by Christian Vosel's number 13, he's still back up to P7.
And that DHL livery. Romain Grosjean for Andretti Motorsports down the backstretch there. Just need to get into a good run here, a good consistent run, nice clean run. These guys just need to get some laps under the belt, get the feel of the car. Things will calm down here in just a moment, but right now, Margola looking to the backside of Foster. Foster a little wide off of turn 4. He's going to take a look to the outside going into 1. Decides against it. Probably a good move. Long race to go. Pick your spots.
You really have to pick your battles, especially early on in this race. For Margula, I'm sure he's running a bit on frustration and anger after that incident with Vosel earlier. And he is...
Oh, Kill James is in the grass in turn 4.
That is our leader around in turn number 4. And I'm afraid that is just a single car incident. The back end stepped down on him. Did he hit the wall? Yes, he did. He actually hit the wall with his right rear suspension. We are still green, but Cale James will bring that machine onto pit road.
Yeah,
we'll see if the damage is severe enough.
We popped into his car, and unless he's changed the steering offset as part of his setup, which is one of the things you can change, he is severely turning to the left a lot more than what you would think. Let's take a look and see possibly what happened. Anyone want to make a guess about anything that might have happened there?
I'm going to guess weight jacker. He was... Well, actually, maybe not, because he was in the lead. He had the clean air. Usually with these setups, if your car is stable in clean air, as soon as you get behind somebody, it's just going to get super tight. So you build it a bit loose for when you have clean air, but then that tends to overheat the rear. And so if you're not on top of that, it's just going to come around on you.
That's probably a good assessment. Almost got beached there on the grass, turns it around. But they're under. Now, the problem with him now is that might be repairable, but they are under green at the moment. So he might be done. He is in pit road, and they do not see a driver in the cockpit. But now this turns the lead over to Diego Bustamante, who is now, I guess, just kind of cruising.
Has about a half-second lead over Regis Montebeller, who has had a sensational drive through the field right now. And the same can be said for Danny Dodgems in P3. Fantastic name, by the way.
Yeah, look at these guys from 2, 3, 4, and 5. Up 16, up 17, up 18, up 20 spots. So these guys are very patient. Probably we need to look at one of the things we haven't done here is we'll bring out the full stat standings here at the moment and check out the pit situation. Bustamante has not pitted yet. Neither has Montebeller, Dodgems, or Miller. The one that has in that battle is Foster. Foster pitted, looks like lap 29 was, excuse me, it's probably too small. I can't really, lap 20, I think. So he's 9 laps into his current stint. He's going to inherit the lead when these 4 ahead of him are going to have to stop.
Watch this space, I'll say.
Danny Dodgems got loose on a turn 4, but he saves it. It looks like he was on track to hit the attenuator there, but he's loose in the short chute again.
Oh, and that's one thing.
I was a little bit behind on my replay, but yes, he seems to get it under control now.
And that is something you really have to be careful of with this setup. I'm sure that all of us would agree, having tried out this set, that it gets really, really loose, even in clean air. And I've even found myself having to put negative weight jacker in the car in clean air. So it's going to be... And so this is a set that will catch out people if they're not careful. It's already caught out our pole sitter. And that has got to be a bit of a warning sign for a lot of these guys right now. And Danny Dodgems is learning that firsthand.
Got 13 cars left on the lead lap. Looks like we have 18 still on the track. Still seeing Travis Corbett. Looks like he's rejoined there in the 31 DuPont car. He is 14 laps down in the 21st spot. He'll pick up a couple spots here as he works his way past Hager and Crutch. And John Gorschels is still sitting on pit road getting some repairs done. He currently shows in 24th. But 20 cars are left currently entered, still running, not that classified as out. And 13 on the lead lap. Last car on the lead lap is this car right here, Christopher Long, kind of cruising. But if he doesn't look too much in his rearview mirror, there are the leaders right behind him on the straightaway. Oh, and there he goes. He goes sideways.
Long is around off of one. He's in the wall hard there. Does he keep it on the apron? I think he will. Yes, he does. So that will likely be no caution, I will think. But that is well and truly game over for that number 2 machine. Started on the outside of the front row, but sadly he is done on lap 31. And once again, it seems like it's that tire degradation, the loose cars. It really seems like the setup is catching quite a few guys out later on in the stint.
Got a close battle for 10th here between Barwick, Johnston, and Brooks.
Car in the grass in the back straight, they just jumped the grass. Travis Corbett, he's now towed back. That was interesting.
Yeah, we're looking at this battle for 10th at the moment. Very, very gingerly. You could kind of tell that the car is not at full speed, full song with all 3 of these guys. They're just kind of pacing themselves, trying to get the laps in and get the feel of that car underneath themselves. Right now, it seems like it's a bit unpredictable for them.
Certainly seems that way, and of course we know nothing about these drivers. We know nothing about their experience level when it comes to IndyCar competition. Some of them this could be their first IndyCar start. For others, they could have some idea of what these cars are like. But this is certainly catching out quite a few drivers here tonight, and it could be down to the lack of seat time, the lack of experience we have in these Indy cars here. And as we've said before, we all have some places to start. Yeah. And it's certain, and the 500 can certainly be a trial by fire for an IndyCar beginner.
Travis Johnson is hanging on by the skin of his teeth and all of his fingernails. You can hear on this roll bar cam, that he is loose, and you can see it in his hands, and you can see it in the way the camera rotates. That car wants to come around. He needs to change his roll bars or his weight checker or something. He is right now fighting a very dangerously loose car. If everyone could take a look at that. See, here he comes through turns 3, kind of scooting up. Yeah, see, he's kind of corrected on exit there. Makes me think maybe a little too much weight jacker. High 2, 3, and 4, not wanting to turn that wheel very much out to the wall. I think he might have just kissed it.
Just a little bit of a kiss there, and Stephen Brooks behind him in the 16 probably doesn't like the sight of that now as Johnston runs way up high there.
Yeah, I think Brooks has got to make that move. I don't think he really wanted to. He really wanted that car at least be a little bit more predictable in front of him, but he makes the move, and now Brooks is now up to P11.
To move that 16 machine up one more spot, he sets his sights on Gregory Barwick ahead of him for position number 10. But Travis Johnston, he's still keeping the car going, but you can tell he is not liking the way that number 12 machine is handling.
Maybe behind the car, he's getting better handling. That arrow push might be balancing out the car.
It certainly could be, and with the way this... Diego Bustamante bringing it onto pit road. Montebello stayed out.
John Fossler lost it out of turn 2 and hit clobbered the inside wall. He's towed it back. He's done.
And that is a car that was running just outside the top 5 out of the running. And looking at it again, like that is a hard hit. And that, sadly for him, is well and truly game over as Bustamante finally gets himself down to his pit stall for his first stop of the day, lap number 37.
Trying to see if we can get that incident from Foster there.
So Bustamante should be able to make it on 4 more stops, but it's a pretty big fuel save. We'll see what he can do here. Anybody that hit under one of these previous cautions is going to be in a much better position than he is.
Montebello now on pit road, and Waylon Miller coming in as well.
Yep, Montebello coming on to pit road, up 17 spots. Has something on pit road, making a...
trouble turn 1. Dodgems.
Danny Dodgems in the number 20. He was running in the top 3, and that is a 2-car collision. And oh my goodness, look at this. car in front of him is all over the place on the front straightaway, clips the wall, bounces off the inside wall, and takes Don Jumps with him.
Yeah, let's take a
That,
look
I
at this one right
believe-
here and see who that car might have been. In the
That is
middle
the
of
11 of Christopher West, I've noticed. That is a bizarre incident.
For the record, I did that during a qualifying run, but not during the race.
Certainly not. And West seemed to just drift up into the outside wall, didn't catch it till it was too late, and then just clobbers the inside wall. And unfortunately, he's just a passenger at that point.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's. I think maybe he was looking farther down the speedway and wasn't realize how close his rights were getting to that wall. But we are still under green. We are. I don't think we're under caution at all.
Yes,
No,
we are.
under
We're
caution.
under yellow.
So Cody Keller now inherits the lead. You're gonna work with me on this next name. Peter Margula.
Piotr Margula.
Yeah, currently showing in that number 6 car in the that DHL Grosjean livery. Currently in P2, James Ellis. In the Braun, that's the Formula 1 livery I was looking at earlier. That's the Braun GP from Jensen Button. That is in the 3rd. Bustamante, wow, he's lucky he didn't go a lap down with all that happening on pit road. He is off pit road, currently in 4th. Monteballer is also managed to get his stop done. He is now in P5. Andrew Schuler, he is going to be at the tail end, I believe, of all this action going on here. He is now currently shown in 7th spot. Travis Johnson, who is coming off of pit road, hopefully got a new set of tires and can get all that looseness corrected. He is now up to 8th. Stephen Brooks right behind him in that Valvoline livery car in P9. And Devin Chase is currently shown in P10, and he is now a lap down pot behind the leaders, so he isn't going to enable to get that wave around, and he's kind of stuck where he is now for the time being.
So Piotr Margula, he last pit on lap 19 under the previous caution, so that should be good for another 10 laps or so, depending on how much fuel he saved. That said, he did have severe damage last time coming down pit lane, so look for him to be maybe a little off the pace compared to Bustamante.
Perhaps so. And Bustamante now back up to P2 after the cycle finishes. He is going to be looking to retake that lead for certain there, especially if Margula has damage to deal with. And Montebeller looking to make the best of an already fantastic situation for him tonight. Again, fantastic start to this race. And Cody Keller still in P4 after that pit stop there. And that can be attributed, I think, to a lot of these drivers not quite being as bunched up as they probably should have been by the time they reached pit road. As James Ellis, I see, in P5 last time by. He comes off of pit road as well on lap 40.
Yeah, he looks like he might have dumped in for a top off or something, but he is now back to P9. Kind of with this many cars on the lead lap, I mean, that's not a bad gamble for him at all. That's a strategy I kind of play a lot when there's so few cars on the lead lap, and I'm one of them. Might as well stop, go ahead, top off everything, and keep the action in front of you, and see if you can make up some positions that way. So not a bad strategy move in terms of really not losing very much track position. That's kind of what I was getting at. And he's coming in again. He's going to come in again. Looks like unless he speeds on pit road. There we go. Get under. Might just want to top off the tank one more time. There are no tire limits. Actually, sorry, I didn't mean to cut anybody off. There's no tire limits with the fixed 500. You can change as many as you want on every lap if you want. So you can come in and change another set of tires if he wants.
Yeah, and note that fuel saving is a factor from here. You would be comfortable if you could make it to lap 72 or even further, if possible, if we get another green flag run. But Diego is he's in a solid spot. He's got the track position, and this caution would certainly help his fuel situation. So definitely, let's see how this plays out.
And Bustamante, as we mentioned before, probably concerned about a possibly wounded race car in front of him as he's weaving a little bit to get his tires warmed up a little bit there. Not quite what I would, not quite my favorite thing to do in the Indy cars as well, given how much they tend to heat up. But this time by, we will be going back to green. We'll be starting lap number 42. This time by, it's Piotr Margula, Diego Bustamante, Regis Montebello, Waylon Miller, and Cody Keller, your top 5. As we wait to get everybody into order, getting ready for the restart.
And we just passed the 100-mile mark, guys, so another 400 miles still to go on this one. Bit of a rough start, we'll see. Typically, as these races go, wow, they're not even going to guard the outside, so this might be Peter saying to Diego, go ahead and go. I'm wounded. Nope, he's going to restart there right in the middle of the racetrack. We are green, and watch Diego just eat up that distance.
Look at that. Bustamante round the outside, and he comfortably takes the race lead from Margula, who may be struggling a little bit on this restart. Not sure if he was caught in the wrong fuel map setting or if he was still
damaged. I think we're damaged. I think that's what Alex was reporting, a little damage from an earlier incident. So he might just be trying to nurse this thing to the end. Another 400 miles of a damaged car. Boy, I did 300 miles with a damaged car at Lionheart Speedway at Pocono, and that was absolute murder. So this guy's got to do another 400 miles of this. I feel your pain, brother. I feel your pain.
I do as well, from having suffered through a damaged race car in the final stint of the Lionheart Pocono 500 earlier this season. So it's never a good feeling to have any sort of damage to these Indy cars. They can't take a hit like a stock car probably can, as Montebello looks to the inside of Margula, side by side going into turn 3.
Andrew Scholler is in the grass on the back straight. He hit the short chute out of turn 1. He's just driving on the grass all on his own right now.
And he bounces up high there, loses it in turn number 3. Does he get it back down there? Yes, he does. We stay green for the time being, and he resets.
We also had Gregory Barwick had trouble in the short chute as well, out of turn 1. Hit the wall and then towed from the apron.
Indeed, he did. He was pushed up high there in the middle of 1, brushed the wall in the short chute, and sadly, it's just that little bit that's able to ruin the car, and sadly for Barwick, that seems to be game over. But it is Diego Bustamante coming to complete lap 44. The number 4 machine right now holding a 1.5 second lead over Regis Montebello in P2. A great start for him so far, 18th to 2nd in 45 laps.
Third at the moment. Miller on the outside, or the inside of Margula, getting that position. Margula back to 4th, now falling into the clutch. Well, Margula's going to take a look again on the inside, going into 3. Not going to give that up so easily.
Good fight back there from Piotr Margula.
Peter,
and Miller.
He got a little loose on the exit of 3. Here on the
there it is. He's loose
outside,
again,
Miller.
and that pops up the spot to Miller right now, and he clears him for P3 right now. Coming up to the line right now, and Cody Keller all over the back end of that number 6 machine looking into turn 1.
Keller just needs to show a little patience here. You can probably see that Peter is not as fast as he was. Needs to get in that draft right there. Or maybe he just wants to stay put and try to... Nope, he's going to pull... No. Well, let's see. Brings the nose down, thinks about it for a second. No, gets back underneath.
Quite there, and Keller may have had his front arrow chopped off a little bit by Margula on the entry of the corner. It's something that it becomes a fact of life for IndyCar drivers around here, and of course not just at Indianapolis, but at a lot of other tracks as well. So that grip probably was not quite there for Keller. He'll try to make a run of it on the backstretch, though, it seems.
Yeah, you can hear him playing with the throttle as he's trying to line this pass up.
See if he can get the run right now. Margula still in the tow of Waylon Miller in front of him, so that's going to be a benefit to that number 6 machine. Not quite enough for Keller to get up alongside him. And a little bit of blinking there from Waylon Miller. I've seen nothing, and now he's back now. Now seems fine for the moment. His ping around 100 right now. A lot of drivers having relatively
high
connection.
Turn 1. Here comes Keller. Nope. Sides against it. Again, plenty of time. He doesn't need to make this move now. He is clearly faster. And the problem is he's catching him in a spot where he really can't do anything with him right here in the short shoot. You can pass in the short shoot. It's just not very smart to pass in the short shoot. The thing he's doing is he's getting a run, and by the time he gets the run where he thinks he can pull out and make the pass, you're already in the corner and it's a little too late. So he just needs to time it a little bit better. So he is going to take a look at the inside in the short shoot.
Has a peek down low, side by side there. Keller got on the apron there. That was really close stuff, but he makes the pass stick. Margula back down to P5 right now. Keller in a hair-raising move up to P4.
That's probably the pass of the day so far. He held it together and moves his way up to P4. So your top 4 is Bustamante, Monteballer, Miller, and Keller. Margula, Brooks, and Ellis make up the top 7, as there's quite a bit of distance between P5 and P6 at the moment. That is Margula and Brooks. Get the cameras back on these guys. Brooks currently is down the middle of the backstretch at the moment.
Indeed, and I gotta commend Keller on that pass in more ways than one. Not only for making it in a position where you normally wouldn't dare to make a passing move, but also getting his left side tires on that rumble strip in the middle of turn number 4 and making it through in one piece. As any driver who knows Indy worth their salt would tell you, that curbing is absolutely lethal, especially on a loose race car like this.
Yeah, ask Connor Daly.
Indeed, definitely.
Let's bring back up the tickers and give everyone an idea of a full field rundown. We are 50 of 200 laps in at the moment. Currently watching a battle for 6th, 7th, and 8th. Monteballer on pit road. This is a, I'm going to guess it's a scheduled stop. And we got another car coming behind him. I'm not sure who it is, but he seems to be damaged. He seems to be in that Formula 1 livery. But we'll want Monteballer. He is one among the leaders. Up on the on the pneumatic jacks, down and what? He's out of the race car. Out of the race car.
I was gonna say because that was a weird time for him to be pitting because I thought he came in earlier.
And
he pit under the last caution.
And we had some cars at the end of pit road that looked like that they had some issues.
And he is out of the race. He is disconnected.
EC'd. So Diego Bustamante now is back to your leader. Waylon Miller is P2. Cody Keller is P3. Trying to go through the field and see who we might have saw that was involved in that incident at the end of pit road. Peter Margula is still damaged, but P4. James Ellis in that Braun entry in P5. Stephen Brooks in the Valvoline entry in P6. Travis Johnson, who is hanging on for dear life in his last stint, is still running another power P7, and he is the last car in the lead lap. Devin Chase still stuck a lap down. Christian Vogel, he is currently showing in 10th spot in the number 13 entry, 2 laps down now, I believe. Mitchell McIntyre, that was one of the cars we saw damaged. Mitchell McIntyre, who was one of the early fast risers here, still underway, but he is on a very damaged car. If we probably look at his look at the roll bar, we'll see. No, actually, his rack and pinion looks pretty straight. He just probably has some underbody damage at the moment. Danny Dodgems still going and persisting. He is 6 laps down at the moment. And Keith Long is at the end of pit road. He was one of the ones I saw.
He hit the pit attenuator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was one of the ones I saw hit the pit attenuator, and he is currently, looks like he might be done for the day after 54 laps. So Fellas, we knew it was going to be a rough one. We knew it was going to be a learning experience for a lot of these guys. We're just past halfway to the halfway, and we still got a lot of racing to go. And it's nothing's not even. I don't even say anything's close to being decided yet.
Certainly not at this stage. I mean, you may, from a layman's perspective, you may look at only 6 cars remaining on the lead lap, and you think that the leader, especially with a 4-second lead, has got it all to lose right now. While certainly he does, but it's certainly not impossible that over the next 145 laps, that something could happen to that race leader or anyone else. So it's certainly up in the bag. Maybe even a driver that was 1 or 2 laps down could come back to win, Jacques Villeneuve style.
Yeah, it's still not out of it. Those guys.
Caution is out. Travis Johnston lost the car coming out of turn 4.
Yeah, he's been hanging on to a loose race car for a long time, and let's watch this as he is exiting turn 4 and gives the old turn 4 wall kiss, and that sends him to the inside. So he just kind of had the. I don't want to. He's been fighting the loose condition. I think he's been maybe. Do you think maybe this was a case that he was running the high line for so long that wall just finally came up and snuck up on him?
Could have been, or maybe he was perhaps overcompensating his driving for a loose race car. I've seen some people do that where they just try to be a little bit easier in their wheel inputs, but there is such a thing as being too easy on them, and it could well be that he just didn't put in the input he needed to keep it just out of the wall there, and sadly that cost him a top 5 spot perhaps. And that leaves us now with 5 cars left on the lead lap. And we'll see if Bustamante, Miller, Keller, Ellis, and Brooks, the top 5 who are still on the lead lap, we'll see what they do with their pit strategy. And Bustamante coming in. Waylon Miller staying out. Keller coming in as well. And Stephen Brooks. And is that James Ellis? Yes, it is James Ellis coming on the pit road too.
Yeah, Ellis and Brooks only 15, 17 laps respectively since their last stop. Might as well come in. This will get them to roughly almost lap 90. Not quite.
And as Miller gets behind the pace car right now, one driver who probably doesn't like the sight of that 22 machine in front of him is Piotr Margula, who is a lap down, but he would have gotten the wave around had Miller pitted. So that's got to be frustrating for Margula. But again, if he stays patient, it could well work out in his favor once more, and he could get himself back on the lead lap again.
That Keith Long got back repaired, back underway there, as was one of the cars that crashed into the attenuator about 3 or 4 laps ago. He is back repaired and under power. He is down 13 laps at the moment, 6 laps to the next position ahead of him.
And I've got to say, I'm actually surprised that Keith Long's still going, because he had a hard impact with the inside wall in the short chute between 1 and 2 earlier on. And with the damage I saw in that car, I thought that was game over here. But while he may be 12 laps down, keeping that car going is definitely surprising in of itself, if you ask me.
And he seems to be tracking pretty straight. And we're on the roll bar here, and he is tracking pretty straight with that wheel. I think at this point, guys, and each one of us kind of give your own opinion, that no longer really is it necessary to. The criticality is keeping your car moving at this point, keeping it forward velocity, keeping it operating, because we've clearly seen at this point anything can happen.
Certainly true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, right now there are 13 cars left in the session, so I mean, you're practically guaranteed a top 10 at this rate, or maybe even a top 5 if you can just make it the full 500 miles, or just take the checkered flag, even if you're a couple laps down. So, yeah, just survive, bring it home, and go fast, really.
That was one of the keys to the race that pretty much universally each one of us said, survival. And as you see, it's a big part of the strategy here. I don't, unless you really compete in the open ranks and maybe in some league races, I really don't think that a lot of these drivers that get into IndyCar, especially if you come up through the fixed series, get a lot of discipline on everything's a sprint. And you really just gotta settle into a very long marathon with this 500-mile race. Because if we were talking a fixed race, I think we'd be about 2 laps from the finish right now. If this was a fixed series race.
Yep.
And if this was the IIS, we'd still have about another 100 laps or so to go. And then the Open Series, I think, is that 100 laps for Open, Alex?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they'd be just past halfway with Open. But a lot of these guys, if you've only been in fixed, this is you're now treading into uncharted territory.
Now we're getting ready. Starting lap 58. It's Waylon Miller leading the way. We're waiting for that pace car to peel off. And we'll see if we can get another long green flag run in. Pace car down. Miller waiting. Gets on the throttle now. And that is still Piotr Margula behind him. He's running 6th, but he is a lap down right now. He wants to, if it's possible, to get around Miller and get himself back on the lead lap the old-fashioned way. I think Margula will probably take that chance.
Yeah, and really, it'd be in Miller's interest to let him go. Really.
Yeah, it really is. It's really not his battle.
Look at Bustamante trying to get the draft off of Mitchell McIntyre. Anything for a little extra speed down the back straight.
Yep, I can attest to that as well. Bustamante gets by McIntyre there. He's got Cody Keller hounding his gearbox right now as we come down the front straightaway. The gap between Miller and Bustamante, 1 and 2 at the stripe, 1.9 seconds, nearly 2 seconds. And it's a big gap right now. Of course, they have a lap car between them and Piotr Margula. So they have a little bit more aero push to deal with right now, but still at this stage, I think Bustamante and Keller are just going to be riding easy right now. They're in a good position track position wise. There's only 5 cars on the lead lap. They just need to minimize errors and keep things going, and they'll be in for a good result, it would seem. Of course, working lap 60, anything can happen in Indianapolis.
If you're just joining us, this is Race First coverage of the official fixed Indy 500 bottom split, coming to you from the world's greatest race course, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where we have completed, we're on lap 61 of 200. Thanks for joining us as we are watching Bustamante get out of it big time as he keeps it
and
off
Cody
the wall.
Keller's wrecked. Keller has wrecked it. I think he got a little bit of aero push in the middle of one. He brushed the wall there, and a hard hit to the inside wall in the short chute puts an end to the P3 runner. The number 15 machine seems to be out of it.
You just got to be kicking yourself after that.
It's in a word, it's agony. It's utter agony when something like that happens to you. Especially when you're running in a podium position and you're in a good battle for it as well. So Keller out of it. And then there were 4 on the lead lap. It's Waylon Miller, Diego Bustamante, Stephen Brooks, and James Ellis are the top 4. And the only 4 left on the lead lap in the bottom split Indy 500.
Once again, thanks for joining us. Make sure to smash the like button and subscribe. We thank you for watching tonight. We did realize it's a bit of a different viewing experience. So thanks for choosing us tonight as we're putting on the bottom split here of the fixed Indy 500 weekend. We'll probably, tomorrow, if you check your listings for other top split Indy 500 programming, you probably see Alex in one of those top splits tomorrow at the 1 o'clock race. So you all set?
Yeah, looking forward to it. Yeah, as long as we get enough people, I should be safe in top split starting 31st right now. So it was really nervous in those final hours of qualifying, but yeah, in the end, it was just barely enough.
Dakota, I haven't heard a lot from you here lately. I'm sure you're just kind of watching them go around and analyzing. What are your plans tomorrow? Plan on making any one of the races?
No, I will be at the Indianapolis GP tomorrow. I'll be sitting next to the boss man, Matt Houston. So, I'll finally be able to confirm if he is or isn't a cat. So this will be the first time.
Will you be able to make the Sunday race at all, or just no 500 this year for you?
Gosh, I haven't decided if I would do Sunday yet. I'm the type of person that does all of them, or
yeah, you did the marathon last year. You did all 4 of them, and that race on Sunday morning, that's like, oof. I want to sleep in, but the number of people that still show up for that one to complete the weekend sweep. Yeah, you didn't do too bad last year. I think you finished on the lead lap in all but one, right?
2 of them I finished a lap down, but I did, the 2 back-to-back 500s on Saturday. Those are always the struggling ones there, because you finish with a 500 and then you hop right back into another one.
Yep.
And I did end up top split for 3 of the races and finished 3rd on the early Saturday morning. So, yeah, I'm proud of that. So, yeah.
So, Steven, what about you?
And for me, basically the idea that Dakota had with doing the 2 Saturday 500s, that's basically what I'm doing. I'm doing the morning 500, and if I'm not satisfied with the result, I do the 1 o'clock one, and that's actually something I did in 2019. Actually, the 2019, the morning one, I was wrecked on lap 1 in that race, and then the very next one after that, I won the whole thing.
So what was your iRating gain for that weekend? Did it just break even?
I think it broke even. I've stuck around the mid to high 3,000 range on my oval iRating for a while now.
Bustamante gets away with another close call in the South short chute between 1 and 2. Just trying to cruise here to the finish. He is 10 laps into his current stint. Waylon Miller, this is the one that we're going to start paying attention to. He is probably due for a pit stop sometime in the next, I would say, he's got 30 laps under his current stint, but a good portion of that is under caution. I would say he's probably due in the next 15 laps or so, depending on how much fuel he was saving under caution. What do you think, Alex?
Probably the next 3 or 4 based on the cautions.
Okay. Tells you what I know. 15 laps or so.
Bustamante! Very loose there. He saves it off of turn number 4. Beautiful save there. Gathers it up, but he sacrifices second place to Steven Brooks, who moves up to P2. A beautiful save, I gotta say, that one. For Diego Bustamante, keeps that car underneath him, but that is a scary moment for sure.
Let's go back and take a look at that in the Wayback Machine. Let's see what happens. He might be wanting to grab those roll bars and maybe stiffen the front and loosen up of that rear quite a bit. Here he comes into corner number 3 here. Gets down to the white line. Car really rotates on exit. Saves it. Prevents him going to the inside retaining wall there that we've seen so many drivers in the past, from Kevin Kogan to Ari Leyendyke did it in a IROC car, hitting that inside retaining wall. It just bouncing you right back out onto this course, and that course could have picked up another car in the process. But he's back underway. He might want to tighten that thing up a little bit, and he's still quite a ways away from a pit stop.
And now he's got James Ellis in the number 5 to contend with behind him right now for P3. Ellis probably looking at this gift horse he's been presented with a possible podium. Probably not going to be looking that too much in the mouth right now. He is going to be looking to claw his way back up there. And of course, we got to... Ooh, as Bustamante gets dangerously close to pulling a J.R. Hildebrand on us with that wall there. Bustamante... You gotta be careful with that, my dude. You gotta cool yourself down a little bit and keep an eye on those tires. You gotta be careful right now. Nursing that car around. Hopefully he hasn't damaged it too much. But James Ellis is looking at this and probably thinking Bustamante is running a bit scared right now.
Yeah, and you got to pick your spot. Where do you want to pass him? Oh, it looks like a little bit further back. Travis Johnson into the turn 2 wall. Looks like he's moving to the inside, trying to make his way back around the pit road. He's going to the grass and hopefully will punch out before we go over another
Bustamante
caution.
has spun.
Bustamante, same spot, and it looks like the same thing as before. He loops it around off of turn number 4, and wow, James Ellis just barely avoids him, and he doesn't hit the wall, thankfully. He's able to keep it going. So, unfortunately for Bustamante, he's able to keep it going. Sadly, it brought out a caution, but it could well be that's minimal damage done, and he's going to want to get off these tires ASAP.
We'll check it out here as he's going through the north short chute into turn 4. He's right there on the white line. It doesn't look like really any, just snaps on exit. Too much weight checker possibly again. Does a good job of keeping it off the wall. And I tell you what, if you needed to change tires really badly, that's one way to bring out your own caution.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm reminded of the Coke 600, I believe in, 1993 with Dale Earnhardt Sr. He needed a caution to get back in contention, so he made one for himself. And of course, when he did that, he wrecked Greg Sachs. but it was, well, of course, he didn't get what he wanted there, but he still won the race anyway because, well, Dale Sr. things. But Bustamante, not a situation he'll relish on that one, but it seems to have worked out for him. Of course, we'll be catching up to that pace car. The pace car is all the way in turn number 3, while Bustamante himself is in turn number 1 right now. He's gonna have to catch back up to make the best possible situation of this.
How fortunate is this for Miller, Alex, on this one? You said he had to stop within the next couple of laps, and we were right there at that window.
Yeah, that's pretty much perfect for him. It does bring it back into a fuel-saving race if these drivers are keeping an eye on that. So it's 32 lap stints to the end from here. So who knows? Maybe that somebody can cut out a pit stop, and that'll gain you 40 seconds at least. So it's it could be very valuable by the end of the race.
Many cautions as we've had, that may not shock me too much. And Miller comes in. Steven Brooks in as well. Piotr Margula, who was a lap down, I would think he would have stayed out there, but he is actually coming in as well. He may not have had the field make it.
Well,
leader, James Ellis.
But still, he could have stayed out, got the lap, and with the way that the cautions are kind of falling, provided he wasn't his own caution, he might have been able to get that lap back. So he maybe wasn't thinking about that, or maybe just is thinking still. I mean, we're not even halfway point to the race. Let's go ahead and pit and get new freshies on there and go back at this again.
And meanwhile, James Ellis has stayed out on this caution.
It'll be interesting. James Ellis, we'll get the camera here on him real quick. He is in that brawn livery there, coming in the backstretch with Waylon Miller right behind him. Actually, the 20 right behind him there is Danny Dodgems. Dodgems, despite his issues, is 3 laps down in P8. So he was hoping to maybe get one of the waiver rounds, but is not going to get that. Ellis is 15 laps into his current stint, and probably not a bad idea to go ahead and just stay on out with this pit cycle. He's got halfway through. He's got a half tank. I mean, they didn't really need to pit. How's that impact his pit strategy for fuel going forward there, Alex?
It's a weird call. I mean, it'll get him that track position, which is one of the keys. It's hard to pass here. So yeah, maybe he can make something out of this. If we get that long run, though, it could hurt him at the end.
Very much so.
Oh, here he comes now.
Course, now he comes in.
Wonder maybe he missed his entrance last time.
Or maybe this was an idea to go and for him to be 1 lap better to the good than Brooks, Bustamante, and Miller. So once again, move Waylon Miller up to the top spot once more. Steven Brooks and Diego Bustamante will be 2nd and 3rd. James Ellis, the last car on the lead lap, he finally makes it to his pit stall. He will be P4. And he'll be actually, one issue he'll definitely be having right now is all the traffic that's around him, all the lap cars he'll have to deal with.
Only 6, but yeah.
It's only 6 to be sure, but
Well,
it's still
okay. So let's work off this though. So he's behind 6. Okay, some of these drivers are having hard times up there. Why don't we just dial it down to engine map 5? Maybe draft off these guys a little bit, keep the action ahead of you, and possibly stay out longer than the next guy. I mean, that's a bit of a gamble. I mean, I don't think that's something Alex would do. Alex, you probably would have pitted this the lap when everyone else did, right?
Yeah, I would have come in first because it's not like an insane number to hit, but you do have to kind of work for it. But having the draft now will be beneficial, but you are going to lose out to the slower cars in front of you. So it's an interesting call. I see people make that call usually, but I usually don't think it's worth it to hit that last time by.
Yeah, especially if the competition is really tight. It's really something you don't want to do. You kick yourself a little bit when you miss your chance to pit at the first opportunity generally. But now everyone is ready to roll once more. Pace cars down. Miller. Oh, and looks like Margula's trying to get the jump on him a little bit. Green flag flying there. A bit of a slow start, it looked like, for Waylon Miller. And now it looks like Margula is relishing the chance to get back on the lead lap here.
Nope. A little bit loose there on corner exit out of 1.
It is Miller away right now. Steven Brooks now all over the back end of Margula, trying to put him well and truly behind him. But now he's got Diego Bustamante still hounding his rear right now.
Ellis working his way up. He's already moved past 2 cars.
Drivers letting the lead lap cars go. Well done to them right now. As James Ellis trying to work his way around the 13 of Christian Volzel. Down to the low side there. He will clear that number 13 machine right now. Yes, he does. And Ellis now sets his sights firmly on Diego Bustamante ahead of him. They got another lap car to deal with right now. But Ellis is making hay while the sun shines, it seems, on these fresh tires, and closing well and truly back up with the leaders.
Yeah, works in a way around Mitchell McIntyre. McIntyre currently showing 6 laps down in P8. It's him and Dodgems on the same lap. They are actually battling for position at the moment. We're watching Ellis as he is tracking down one of the other liveried. Oh, a little eye there, buddy.
Ooh.
One of the Scuderia Ferrari liveried cars out there. Of the 19 there of Devin Chase. Chase gets out of the way, just pulls down, letting James on by. That's James Ellis on by. That was real nice of him. And now Ellis has moved up another position on the racetrack. Going back here in the battle for a position, actually, it looks like Dodgems got around McIntyre. That was a battle for 8th. These 2 cars are both 6 laps down. Looks like McIntyre thought he was going to take a pit and decides not to. And he's still underway. Back up front, Waylon Miller's got a 1.9 second lead over Steven Brooks. Steven Brooks, ooh, he's in a battle right now. 3-way battle, because here comes Bustamante with a slower car with Margula involved. Bustamante gets the run and gets around Steven Brooks and picks up 2 positions on, one for a track position, another for position on the standings, as he manages to take advantage of the slower car and get around Brooks.
Yeah, and well done to Bustamante there. That was a bold play right there, using that lap car as a pick. Very well done to them. As actually, speaking of Margula, he's actually back on pit road now. But well done to Bustamante there. That was a great opportunistic move there. Very well executed on his part. And that moves him up to P2.
We'll watch Margula here, see what happens. Regular scheduled stop. Yep, going for a new set of tires and everything. And they'll be down on the way here. Get him into just past, up into about lap 110 or so, if there's no caution.
And he seems to be...
Long stop.
It seems to be a long stop for Margula.
Maybe speeding on pit road. We'll see.
No, you look to be down to speed. Could be damage or something like that.
Okay.
It could have been him pitting under closed pits when he was a lap car, because he pit when the leaders did, and I don't think the pits were open for him.
Oh,
Usually
okay.
that's an EOL, but could be a time penalty, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, he's still on pit road. About a minute down, away, and yeah, so some sort of time penalty that Margula had to serve on pit road. Actually lost the position there to Christian Vogel.
And Devin Chase now moves himself up into the top 5 with this whole, with the episode with Piotr Margula, who is rejoining the race right now, coming in through the access road off of turn number 2. So move Devin Chase and Christian Vogel up to 5th and 6th, respectively. Danny Dodgems behind Margula is about 4 laps in arrears, so he has a cushion to work with, very definitely. So we'll see if Margula can make the most of this and hold on to a top 10 spot. But that car looks very, very slow coming up to speed here. And Margula, yeah, he's coming back on the pit road once more. I think this may have cemented it and maybe terminal, sadly, for Margula.
Miller's having connection issues. The leader. He's gone. He's blinked out.
Yeah,
he has. And Miller, I'm seeing his ping was around 100. Normally, I was seeing before. Now it's in the 300 range for Waylon Miller. Something wonky must be going on his end right there. So we'll see if things get better or get worse.
That's when you need to yell on your rig and tell the family to get off Netflix. Get off Netflix, get off Disney Plus, I don't care.
Yeah. I don't care if you're watching the new episode of The Mandalorian. You can watch it later.
Yeah.
I got an Indy 500 to win is what Waylon Miller is probably saying. He has popped back up right there, but Bustamante has given the warning to the 22 machine of Waylon Miller that he is lagging. So that is the message received, it would seem. So hopefully for Miller, whatever's going on his end will rectify that. Oh, he's actually blinked again a little
wrong
bit.
With Steven Brooks.
Steven Brooks, yes, taking the warm-up lane in turn 3.
Interesting. What has happened to third place Steven Brooks? Oh, I found it. It was once again contact with the outside wall in turn number 1 and 2 in the short chute. Just a little brush there. Ooh, as I saw, was that Margula? Margula half spun there just behind James Ellis. He gathers it up though, but that car is definitely running slowly right now. As Margula lets these cars around him go by right now, he's definitely nursing a wounded car right now. I'm wondering how long he's going to be able to put up with it.
It could just be the rear tires are like melting, and you can make it better within a lap or so. But he's back in the pits now.
Once again, he comes on the pit road. So it seems to me right now, is the way things are looking right now. And then there were 3 on the lead lap. Miller, Bustamante, Ellis, Steven Brooks looks like he's going to go a lap down at this point.
Now, through the history of IndyCar racing and Indianapolis 500, go ahead.
Keith Long saved it coming out of turn 2. I was for sure he was going to lose it there. He was almost a full 90 degrees sideways, but
Take a look here.
he saved it.
Oh, I saw that too. That is a heck of a slide. You actually saw smoke coming off those rear tires.
Tokyo drift worthy right there. Look at that. Wow. Oh, regains it back under power.
Yeah. I'm sure Takuma Sato would like an homage to one of the great styles of racing of his native Japan, but I think there's a time and a place for that sort of thing.
Now, that's definitely going to, with the track temperature. And by the way, that's something we haven't really talked about Track temperature, certainly for qualifications, was really hot. What are we currently at track temperature right now?
It is 131 degrees
Okay, so
Fahrenheit.
it has not
the track
changed.
temp.
Okay, has not changed since the start of the race.
Yep. So and it won't change at all.
Yeah.
Due to limitations with how iRacing is able to set up these sessions, it's one static weather setting for the entire session, both for qualifying and the race.
Yeah, not so much the case in real IndyCar racing. Actually, when the real 500 starts at about noon, the track still gets hotter till about 2 o'clock, and most of the time the races, at least lately, and that's one of the things I haven't really talked about, are all the different current track records. The current track record for the race, that's average speed, was set last year by Helio Castroneves, and that was a race record of 190.690. So that race was done almost as quickly as it started. I believe there was only 3 cautions that entire race. One serious, and then of course I think he had 2 incidences on pit road, and then you had the Rahal tire issue turn 2. But most of the time, the track really doesn't start to cool down until about after the 2 o'clock hour, and then the track starts to get cooler. And of course here at Indianapolis, as the sun moves across the sky, and certainly on the front straight, you'll start to pick up the shadows from the grandstands, and that also helps the track temperatures cool off there, at least on that portion of the track. But real IndyCar racing, that's something that they put up with here, as mentioned in the sim, to make everything universal and the same for everybody across the board. That is all locked in. Just a reminder, your track records for Indianapolis: single unofficial speed 239.260, set by Ari Leindyke on Fast Friday in '96. Official single lap speed 237.498, set by Ari Leindyke on day 2 of quals in '96. Four lap average official track record 236.986, also set by Ari Leindyke on day 2 of the '96 quals. The fastest race lap ever recorded, 236.103 by Eddie Cheever, also during the '96 500. So if it wasn't for Helio Castroneves setting that new track record for the race record actually last year, pretty much all of the speed records, significant speed records other than the official race record, would have been held by Ari Leindyke.
Amazing how much the Flying Dutchman loved Indianapolis. Of course, he won here twice, and really amazing to see that. And of course, at one point, Ari Leindyke did have the fastest Indy 500 back in 1990 with his first win here.
Yep. He had the what seemed like a blazingly fast, and that stood for a long time until Tony Kanaan, I think, with his win, got the new record, and then Castroneves. I think at some point we will see, especially with the way that these cars are a lot more reliable. We don't have the engine issues of the past that we've seen in the kart days in the 80s, where they're a lot more fragile. There's a lot more, especially since they're kind of moving to one chassis, only 2 engine suppliers, one tire supplier. That a lot of these issues they've had in the past that kind of make attrition on the field. We'll see a 200-mile-per-hour average speed Indianapolis 500 sometime. Probably in the next 10 years or so, I'm willing to bet.
And given the fact that a race that I actually went to was the fastest 500-mile race ever run, that was the 2014 Pocono 500.
Right.
I was there for that in person, 202 miles an hour. So at Indianapolis, I would wager, and Indianapolis is a faster track than Pocono. I would not be shocked if at some point we will see a 200-mile-an-hour Indy 500 for average speed. And for Pocono, there was only 1 caution that race.
Yep. Of course, your career wins leader here at Indianapolis are Foyt, Unser Sr., Rick Mears, Helio Castroneves, each with 4. Franchitti, Meyer, Rose, Rutherford Shaw, Bobby Unser have 3. Your leading active drivers at the moment, Masato and Juan Montoya, each. Team Penske.
And Castroneves.
Castroneves with 4, yep. And Team Penske figuratively and literally owns the Speedway. The team has amassed 18 wins between 13 different drivers. And then the Penske Entertainment Group are the owners and operators of the Speedway since 2020. So Kind of like the Gillette commercial. I like the company so much I bought it. Well, that's kind of what Team Penske did here. Roger Penske did here at Indianapolis, owning the Speedway. Made a lot of changes, and some of those changes have been really, really good. Improved a lot of facilities, but he's going to tear out some old timing scoring towers that have been there forever. That'll be sad to see those go, but I'm sure it'll put a big screen color TV there for everyone to see that are sitting in this.
Yep, and to borrow a line from the great Kent Brockman, I, for one, welcome our Penske overlords.
Yeah, it's been cool to see all the small, like, there's not much you can change about the Speedway that's like a huge overhaul, but all the small little details that Rogers come through and just improved, like new paint here and there, cleaning up all the bathrooms.
Oh, yeah.
Sections. It's been cool to see that evolve and see how much he really cares about the Speedway and the fan experience.
Mm-hmm.
Well, don't look now. I think we're going to have a battle for first here relatively soon. Bustamante has narrowed down the lead to about a second as he continues to reel in Miller here as we're just shy of the halfway point.
And Miller running a defensive line down to the low side of the track right now. Oh, as actually he slows down to let Bustamante through. Interesting strategy, I guess. Maybe. I'm not sure what. Not too sure what the idea was. But move once again, Diego Bustamante back up to the race lead on lap number 96, beginning lap 97.
Yeah, I'm kind of at a loss for words as to what that was.
I'm not sure what that one was. Maybe he was loose and wanted to be behind the car. I don't know. It's he hasn't lost him. I mean, he hasn't pulled away from him.
Could be for fuel saving.
Fuel saving, yeah.
Possibly. It could be a fuel save. I also, on the topic of the getting loose there, I did see Miller get a little bit loose off of 2 once. That could be a factor as well, but this also could be a good chance for Miller to do a bit of fuel saving here and ensure that his strategy will work out properly.
Yeah, so definitely. Oh, there's
a car in the short.
Stay green. But yeah, these guys will want to make it to about lap 104 or later. So yeah, lap 104, and then that would indicate to me that they're doing enough to be able to save and cut out that extra pit stop. So
I think they can make it to. I think they make it to. Well,
James Ellis is pitting right now from the 3rd position.
They're at lap 25 and 26 respectively of their stints. Getting the
Miller's
104
caught right back up, fellas. He's caught right back up. He's on the gearbox right now. I think, yeah, he'll probably be wanting to fuel save a little bit unless Bustamante really starts holding him up. But as we mentioned, James Ellis is on pit road right now in P3. We'll see how his stop fares. It seems to be fairly slow, I think, for James Ellis. I'm not sure why he's been so slow on this stop right now as the leaders are working their way through 3 and 4. Ellis down and away now, very slow.
Yeah, there had to be a penalty there or something.
He flew in at about 100 miles an hour on the
that'll yeah, sorry, James. They'll definitely bop you for that. He does is he scored a lap down? He is scored a lap down at this point.
Now he might make the lap back when these guys pit, but he's got a long way to go. And this is one of those things that you chalk up, I don't know, as a rookie mistake, or you just got to be there. And it's just like you pretty much at least had 3rd place secured. Why'd you hit pit road that fast?
And that's another thing that I want to consider, especially since these guys are this could be their first IndyCar start. It could also be their first race where they have to make proper pit stops in the middle of the race, and that can certainly catch out newcomers. A lot of the series.
Waylon Miller up into the wall, kisses it in the north short chute on the south short chute.
He'll survive, I think, but that's if he was fuel saving, that's going to make it a lot harder. He'll have side pod damage. It's going to slow him down, give him a lot more drag. That's going to hurt.
I'm not seeing anything visual right now on Miller, but there's no doubt he'll be nursing a wounded car from this point onward.
Now let's see if he might have some popped rivets there on the side pod. He's going to actually make the turn down pit road now.
I can see some scuffs on the side pod there, so that's going to hurt.
And he's going to be kicking himself about that, too. That's one of the things I was kind of worried about when he was getting so close is you said, don't get too close or you'll lose that air to the front nose. And that's exactly what happened. Slides through his, at least slides to his spot. Now slides through it, backs it up a little bit. They begin work on his car. See how long this stop is, if there's any repair. He blinks a little bit. They're still working on... No, I'm not sure what's going on here.
Meanwhile, Bustamante down the front straightaway. He's certainly going a lap down at this point. And so for the time being, at the very least, Diego Bustamante is the only car left on the lead lap.
Very reminiscent of '88 when Rick Mears pretty much dominated that 500. He was the only car on the lead lap at the very end there. '84, he also dominated pretty well. Another race that I remember where a driver had a big lead and didn't capitalize on it was the Indy Racing League race '96 at New Hampshire. Tony Stewart
in, lock it down. Yes, he gets it down.
Tony Stewart had a two-lap lead, I think, on the field, and his car, the always reliable Menard engine, blew on him and ended up giving the win over to Scott Sharp as Stewart's car sat in the pits with a bad engine again.
And another one that brings to mind immediately to me is 1994 as well, when Emerson Fittipaldi had a lap lead over his teammate Al Unser Jr., and he almost had a lap lead over Jacques Villeneuve in third place, and then Emo just loses it, smacks the wall in turn 4, and throws away a third Indy 500 win.
Yeah, and never got another sniff any closer than that since. But I think a lot of that has to do with the curse of the orange juice.
Yep, I actually remember looking back at actually watching those old broadcasts of the '94 Indy 500. Tell me if I'm wrong on this one, but I could make out people cheering when Emo wrecked there.
So after these pit cycles, Ellis is still going to be one lap down to Bustamante. He was close to unlapping himself there, but he got held up by some lapped cars during that pit cycle. So he's going to have to work pretty hard here to catch up to Diego and see if maybe he can get that lap back. But as it stands, Bustamante is the only car on the lead lap, which is impressive to say the least.
Certainly his race to lose.
And he's tried to give it away on at least a couple of occasions. We've seen that. So, well, let's put it this way. Even though he has a lap lead on the field, this race is not over yet.
Not in the slightest. But Bustamante about to start lap 106. A one-lap lead over James Ellis, Waylon Miller in third, Devin Chase and Stephen Brooks still holding strong. Miller and Brooks still holding on to evidently damaged cars, but it's still worth a top 5 for both of them right now. And they're just going to be wanting to keep it going and get themselves some good track position, some good iRating at the end of the day, I wager. Maybe even a win if Bustamante makes a serious error.
So what do you guys want to talk about for the next 94 laps?
All right, I wanted to mention this real quick. Gary, you've been to 25 Indy 500s?
25, right? Yeah.
Okay. I have a podium race finish at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. A real one.
Oh, is that the go-kart track?
Yes.
All right.
A makeshift go-kart track on the infield IMS parking lots as part of the Purdue Electrical EV Grand Prix. So That's I don't want to brag. I don't want to one up you guys, but I am bragging a little bit.
Yeah, and actually what's really funny is that it reminds me of when I was searching for colleges to attend after high school. I looked at Purdue for a while because I was tempted by the idea of their Grand Prix events. They're building race cars. Oh, caution's out.
That is,
and it's Waylon Miller. Waylon Miller is stopped on the back straightaway.
And Mitchell McIntyre was also up in the wall there too. So
yeah, two separate incidents there.
Waylon Miller, I think, is done. He is punched out. So
he has. Waylon Miller probably frustrated he wasn't going to get the win that he thought he was going to get, pulls it off, and I think he was the reason the caution came out. But to get back to what I was saying, I was looking at Purdue specifically because I loved the idea that they actually had their own go-kart racing thing going on. I wanted to study mechanical engineering, but then when I actually did start college, I ultimately became a Penn Stater. So I became a Nittany Lion, and I started looking into mechanical engineering a little bit, and then it turns out I hated calculus with every fiber of my being, and then I decided on a business degree. So
don't worry, everyone hates calculus.
So, Alex, you went to Purdue. Did you get a chance to do anything with the Grand Prix?
No, but I did do a year with the Formula SAE team. I was I was the only non-engineer on the team, and so the culture wasn't quite a good fit. But I was on the robotics team for a while, and that was a lot of fun. Purdue was a great school for engineering. Big fan of Purdue, of course.
Yeah, I toured the SAE. Is the SAE shop still in Lafayette? Like you have to go all the way over across the bridge to get there?
No, it's in the ME building, I think, still.
Oh, they moved it. Okay.
Yeah.
It used to be you had to go all the way into Lafayette to like some garage, and they just had everything there. But yeah, no, they seemed like a good group of guys. I wish I joined that group too.
Oh, Bustamante just passed the pace car entering the pits.
Ooh.
That might be a slam dunk penalty.
That could well be, and James Ellis has stayed out. Devin Chase in P3 was also one lap down. He pits 2.
Yeah, Ellis made the right move to stay out.
Indeed. Great call there by James Ellis. I think he had a better fuel situation than Bustamante in any case, or they were fairly even, but Bustamante comes in. He'll probably still hold on to the lead, but it could well be if he does get a penalty from that. He does have a penalty I'm seeing on the ticker. So he'll be shuffled to the back of the pack. So
I think that's a drive-through, at least. You can entering a closed pit or something like that is just an EOL, but oh gosh. But yeah, passing a car, passing the pace car is
we've seen that Jacques Villeneuve, we talked about it a number of times, that he got a 2-lap penalty. That was from USAC, though. USAC was notorious, always seemed to give harsh penalty. What's he doing here?
Oh,
there's a wreck. What?
What the? There is a wreck on the back straightaway. I'm trying to see who that is.
Mitchell
That is Mitchell McIntyre and Keith Long. And Bustamante is probably bewildered at that. Works his way around them there. What in the...
Okay, so we got the camera on Mitchell McIntyre. He's just kind of coming down the backstretch.
I think he clipped the grass. Yes, he did. His left side tires clipped the grass, and that just sent him around. And Keith Long probably had no idea what was going on, and he just couldn't get it stopped in time.
It's just like, today...
Today is just not Keith Long's day, is it?
I mean, he's going to get a top 10 out of this thing regardless, but man.
Yeah, he's been through the absolute ringer tonight to get that top 10.
Yeah, I think he's like on his 3rd or 4th front wing. He must be borrowing it from other cars down pit road who haven't used theirs up yet. But yeah, another front wing replacement here for Long as he's making his way around. We'll get back onto live television pictures as he's on pit road here. We're still going to find out what happened with our leader in this penalty.
There's some confusion with Brooks and Bustamante about who should be in front of each other. I think they've got it resolved. But
So Bustamante now back behind the pace car with 1 lap to green. And Stephen Brooks is certainly not happy right now. So James Ellis and Devin Chase are back on the lead lap. Christian Wurzel is up to 4th.
He's only down a lap. He might even get this lap back.
He is only down a lap too. So Christian Wurzel looking for a little bit of a redemption arc himself after all of this. And just to let you know there, that weird squiggly big B thing in that is a double S in German.
S-set, yeah, it's an S-set.
So Christian Wurzel moves himself back up into position right now. So we'll have to see what happens with Bustamante. He's still got a black flag, and so does Keith Long for that matter. I think he got a black flag for entering a closed pit.
I think that's the least of his
Oh,
concerns
Keith
right now.
Long just clobbered the inside wall in the short shoot.
Oh,
it doesn't get any better for him. Oh my god!
wow! Tonight is definitely a 500 that Keith Long will want to forget. But now Bustamante gets back on the throttle right now. Green flag flying,
And
we'll have
Keith
to
Long
see.
coming up to speed here. And oh man, oh jeez. Oh man. Yeah, let's get back to live pictures here. Keith Long, sorry man, sorry, but Bustamante is your leader. Now he has a situation where there is a penalty involved here. What is going to happen?
I think he will have to come in as you said earlier that is going to be a drive-through penalty. And I'm still seeing the black flag being shown. His laps are not being counted. Of course,
Here he comes.
Still scores leader. Here he comes. Serve that penalty.
so now the key here, and a lot of people don't realize this, you need to, if it's a stop and go penalty, you need to uncheck all of your service. Don't take tires, fuel, even a windshield tear off. And the penalty is much less severe than it would be otherwise. So hopefully he knows that. I'm hoping for his sake he does, and so that it's a little more recoverable, but we'll see.
Gets himself into his pit stall at last. Yes,
Yep,
he does
he
realize
does,
that he had it unchecked. Down and away he goes. So he is still going to be P3 on the lead lap as the leaders are working their way through turn number 4 right now. Bustamante getting himself back up to speed in the middle of turn 2 right now. So he's lost time to the leaders, but another caution will clear that up in a heartbeat. As now it is James Ellis and Devin Chase, 1 and 2 at Indianapolis.
Yep, James Ellis there in the Braun entry is your leader. Right behind him, that is Danny Dodgems. That is not for position. Danny Dodgems currently is running by himself in 6th spot. In fact, Ellis just might want to let Dodgems go right on by.
He was 5 laps down before. Make that 4 laps down now for Danny Dodgems.
Oh, Christian Wurzel had a heck of a run and had to roll out of it when Ellis pulled up in front of him in the middle of the backstretch there. But that is Wurzel now. This is P4. This is not for position. Wurzel is at the tail end of the lead lap, but this is not for position. He's a lap down. Excuse me.
Wurzel still was 1 lap down. This puts him back on the lead lap right now. So make that 4 cars now on the lead lap from 1 a little bit ago.
Yeah, Devin Chase is then the next car behind Ellis. That is the battle for position right now. Chase is in that second Scuderia Ferrari livery. I do not think Chase and Bustamante are teammates. I just think they just chose the same livery for today's race. They could be. We don't know. But that is the next car, a battle for position right there. And then Bustamante is currently going into turn 3 while everyone else is going into turn 1.
Now, he was a 1.5 seconds faster than Ellis that last lap. And Ellis had the stuff with the lapped cars there to hold him up, but I definitely would not count out Bustamante even with that.
No, not yet. That time by Ellis, a 42.8, Chase a 42.7, Bustamante a 41.7.
Yeah, Bustamante on a tear right now on fresh rubber, and with a clear track in front of him, he's got a clear mandate to get himself up there. Ellis coming up to the line. He just crossed the yard of bricks. Bustamante is on the complete opposite end of the speedway, coming up towards turn number 3. And again, we're only working lap 116. We may be past halfway, but it's still a long way to go in real terms. Bustamante is not out of this yet.
Give you an idea where everyone is. There is the track map. There is your leader highlighted in blue. We'll put the camera here on Bustamante. Bustamante there is in the blue dot now, number 4. That's he is nearly on the opposite end of the track, but he has clear traffic pretty much by himself. Clear sailing. He does have the number 9 of Mitchell McIntyre in front of him. That might give him some aero push here in the next lap or so, but last time by Bustamante a 41.9, Mitchell McIntyre 42.6, so Bustamante considerably faster than this lap car. He'll probably make quick work once he does reach him.
Remember, though, the number 4 earlier in this race was having a lot of trouble late in the run with the tires overheating in clean air, and now he has nothing but clean air. So
right,
that's something he's got to be worried about, and really has to be on top of it.
Ellis hitting pit road.
Ellis coming in. Devin Chase stays out. So move Devin Chase in the 19 up to the race lead for the first time tonight.
And that should be a scheduled stop for...
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
I think you're right. Just needs to hit his marks here. This will top him off. This will take him roughly to lap 150. If we he overshoots his pin.
Oh, he overshot his box?
Yeah, but this will take him. This should take him to lap 150. Somehow Keith Long is still going. I have no clue how after that hit in the short chute, that man is able to still roll. Now the problem is for Ellis, as he's coming up the speed, he has a car that is at, as far as we know, 100%, but in front of him, Keith Long is not at 100%. How is he going to work around
Ellis
this? He's going to hold him
held up right now by Keith Long as... Oh,
yeah,
that's gotta be...
Yeah, you saw that coming. You saw that coming.
Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, sorry, ignore me. I was on the wrong lap.
But that has got to be annoying for James Ellis. And I got to tell you, I think Keith Long may be the real, maybe the iRacing version of that one character in that opening race in the movie Cars that is saying, "Don't take me out, coach. I can still race." He is trying to keep that thing going. Like, this is a commendable effort, I gotta say, for Keith Long, but it's gotta be agony at the same time.
Yeah, Long is back in the pits. Not sure. Let's take a look at his in-car. Doesn't really seem to be tracking wrong. I'm sure the car is just not going to get any speed behind it. See what happens here. Goes to neutral. Well, he's going up on the jacks. Going to get new tires and top off the tank. So I'm not sure what happened last time, but hey, there's no tire bill here in iRacing. Might as well got him. Smoke him if you got him.
Yes, indeed.
So
Devin Chase is the leader. Sorry, we haven't got a chance to talk much about him. Is there? Bustamante is. We'll get the camera back on him. P2.
He's cleared McIntyre is the key thing.
Yeah.
And how he's just outside the 20-second range. That's 7 seconds since he served his penalty that he's gained.
Absolutely.
That's pretty
flying.
impressive. Yeah, that's pretty impressive, all things considered.
Yeah, and even if we don't get a yellow, I don't think Bustamante is out of this yet. We got just under 80 laps to go, and that is plenty of time for Bustamante to close up and regain that lead if we do go green all the way. And if we do get a yellow, it'd be so much the quicker. Of course, presuming that Bustamante himself is not a part of said.
Keith Long coming back out onto the track.
Yep, we got him on here on camera. Seems to be back up to speed. Looking at chat, Nate the Great, the last mention in chat, what in tarnation? Yes, it has been one of those races. We did expect this, but that's okay. That is okay. We realize that everywhere.
Another big development, too. Christian Vosel in P4. He's having a connection failure right now.
Yeah, and just disappeared, and he was sitting in P4 on the lead lap.
Yeah, his qual indicator is dropping like a stone right now. It's down to the 20s. He'll be out pretty soon. He is done for, sadly.
So, yeah, once again, if you're just joining us, you joined us earlier. You're coming on back. You're watching Race First coverage of the fixed Indy 500 bottom split. We're coming to you from the racing capital of the world, of course, Indianapolis, where Devin Chase currently leads with about 75 laps to go. Thanks for joining us or rejoining us. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. And we are now reached lap 125 of 200. Took a while, but we made it.
It did take a while indeed. We're nearing the 2-hour mark of this race. And I'm looking at, and again, still keeping an eye on Bustamante. He carved over a second out of Devin Chase's lead. It's down to 17 seconds right now. Bustamante is on an absolute flyer right now.
So let's give you an idea. There's Devin Chase on the track map. He is the 19 going into turn 1 that you see right there. Bustamante, he is the 4 coming out of turn 4. So they are about almost a half lap apart at this point. A little less than that, actually. As Chase is going into 3, leaving 3. It looks like Bustamante is going into 2. So he is quickly closing down this gap. We're still a long way from the finish, but very reminiscent of Rick Mears running down Gordon Johncock in 92 by large chunks of time. Yeah, large chunks of time. That time by Devin Chase a 42.7, Bustamante a 41.5.
And it is not all over for Vossel. He is just reconnected to the server, so he's going to try and stay in it. He's 4 laps down currently, so he'll probably come out maybe 5 or 6 laps down. But
he's got a top 10. I mean, you gotta finish
he's
it off
for a top 5 still.
Yeah, get a top 5. Finish it off if you can. But here comes Bustamante now, coming up on Keith Long. Keith Long currently shown in 9th spot, 26 laps down. He should pass Waylon Miller in about the next 5 laps or so for that position. And he'll move himself up into 8th. Here comes Bustamante in the draft. The inside into turn 1. Nice and easy.
Bustamante still knocking lap times over a second faster than Devin Chase. This pace he's running is absolutely amazing. And I'm leading to think right now what Devin Chase may be considering. Is he running a bit of a fuel save mode right now? Or maybe a bit of damage perhaps. I didn't see him in too many incidents today. He's kept it relatively clean. But of course, this car really can't take a hit too well. Or maybe perhaps the best option would be that he's just trying to go a few extra laps further on your fuel mileage.
Yeah, so if I'm remembering right, so Chase would have pit a little before lap 100. So that puts him in a really, really tough spot fuel-wise compared to Bustamante.
Chase pitted, he's currently 20 laps into his current stint.
Yeah, so, okay, actually that's not bad. So he would, okay, yeah, so he pit with Bustamante and then got the lead, the wave around. So, yeah, actually he's in a decent spot. So he shouldn't be saving too much, I don't think. Could just be he's taking his time and trying to pace himself and keep it out of the wall. We've seen so many people wreck from the lead today. It's pretty crazy. So maybe he's seen that and it's just trying to back it down.
Yeah, I'm watching his exit off of 1, and it was very, very shallow, just keeping it well off the wall. Currently showing his speed now through the trap, going down the backstretch at 215, 217. Let's see what Bustamante hits, hitting that trap at the back of the backstretch. 218, 219. So he might be 220. He actually hit 220 in the trap in the backstretch. So
I saw 221 going into 3.
Maybe Chase is taking it easy.
And frankly, I wouldn't blame Chase in this situation. Of course, we've seen so many drivers put it in the wall through a silly error, and I think Chase wants to avert that, even if he's a slower car right now. If that is true, that is a very prudent move, I would say, by Devin Chase right now. And of course, we still got a lot of time on hand for him to make up that pace.
Something that, and that's probably that puff of smoke we saw. James Ellis in the pits. He is missing his left front. He is done. He is punched out. So the Braun entry is done. So that is another car that's retiring that was on the lead lap. That's going to allow Steven Brooks now in P4 to move up to P3.
And sadly for Ellis, he just got loose in the middle of turn number 1 and put his foot on the brake trying to correct it there, but he just couldn't prevent it from going into the wall. And that was another hard hit there, and James Ellis's day is done. He can't seem to pull a Keith Long on us and keep the car going through sheer force of will, because that one may well have been just way too much to deal with.
So that's going to open up. Keith Long just moves up. Speaking of Keith Long, moves up to the 8th spot ahead of the retired Waylon Miller. Danny Dodgems now is 3 laps behind where James Ellis was. He will move up to the P4 spot. So Danny Dodgems has salvaged a, well, if he can finish it, at least a top 5 now at this point, a top 4 in this opening session of the bottom split, though, of the fixed Indy 500 this weekend.
That's one other thing to consider as well, that, of course, time schedules work differently for everybody. Everybody has their own things that they do. But there are 4 chances and there's 4 bites of the cherry these guys can make. Tonight's the first one. We have one tomorrow morning. We have another one tomorrow afternoon, and another one on Sunday morning. So it's not over yet for some of these guys. It may be over. This may have been the one shot in the gun for them. But still, though, there's still a chance to make things happen for tomorrow. And for those that are, we call this one a learning experience, shall I say.
You know, I kind of wish that they would give more opportunities to the fixed for the fixed 500, but I understand that there's also the fixed and then the open. If you look at the NASCAR side of things with the 600 has pretty much an entire week to run all their races. I kind of wish they would give maybe a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday type thing to the fixed, but only the 3 days. The Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Watching Devin Chase getting loose off the corner of exit 3. Keeps it underneath him. They're now down to starting lap 135 of 200. He is currently 26 laps. He is loose. You can see right now he is loose. You can even hear under power in the corner if you can hear the car. He's rolling out of the power. He is 26 laps into his current stint. We've been under the stint pretty much entire time green. He's probably coming up here to a pit stop here real soon.
Indeed, and just think of this situation. At the start of this green flag run, Bustamante was 27 seconds behind the race lead. Now, coming up to the stripe here, it'll be 4. And this has been an amazingly fast drive. 4.2 seconds is the gap between Devin Chase and Diego Bustamante. Bustamante is utterly flying. Rick Mears would definitely be proud of this.
Now, Devin Chase is going to be able to get to, and it's one of the things that you and I have talked about, Dakota, when we've worked together in races, and I was helping you guys kind of spot last year. It's getting to that, as we call the Groot strategy, is 30 laps to go. That window right there, that's when you want to make, ooh, we got another crash car. Not sure who that is. Is that Long once again? No, that might be Stephen Brooks. No, Long. It's Long again. So you want to get to the Groot. Yeah, I want to get to the Groot strategy of really pitting as close to 30 to go as possible. We've seen races where we've raced with Nick DeGroot where he would pit right at the 30 lap mark. And there's Mitchell McIntyre having issues on pit road.
Part of the reason we call it the Groot strategy is that even though he was good on another 10 laps of fuel,
he would still pit.
in
He would
early.
still pit, yeah, and then still manage to come out in front of everybody when everyone made that pit stop. So he again looking like Keith Long with the virtual pit crew of the year. Holy crap! Look at they fixed that car right there. But
Devin Chase is on pit road.
Okay, so this is gonna make him Devin Chase a little shy of getting to that 170 mark.
McIntyre is very much struggling to get it into his box. I think. Yeah, okay, he finally got it, but
he's past the white line there. I don't. I guess that's legal. Sure.
He punched out. Doesn't. Oh, well, now they're getting things fixed.
No, he didn't.
That wheel was floating on my screen and has now
Devin
reattached.
Chase pits down and away. 12. Not sure how long he was in the box, but he is done with his service. He's going to have to stop one more time.
He will probably have to stop 2 more times unless he has a lot of saving right here. That'll be tricky. We'll see what he does here. And Bustamonte's in as well.
Bustamante in really close to that number we were expecting. We're expecting about around 30 laps, but to get there, I think these guys are going to have to do a lot of fuel saving, especially Devin Chase in this circumstance.
Bustamante probably has the least amount. If he can get to 170, that's all he needs to do.
Yeah, it'll be much easier for Bustamante at least. And too, like seems to be doing at least a better job of keeping up momentum in the corners through the run, and that's always going to help the fuel mileage that you get anyway. You keep it's important both the throttle position and then keeping that speed all the way through. So the faster you go, the less time you're on the throttle each lap, so the less fuel you burn. So that might also help him a lot later in the run as we get to the end of this race.
Bustamante looks like he's definitely and looks like he'll be liable to jump Devin Chase. I think he has jumped Devin Chase on that jump. Yes, he has.
So it's Bustamante and Chase as your only cars on the lead lap. Brooks is 2 laps down in third. Dodgems is P4, 4 laps down in fourth. Bozel is 5th, 6 laps down. And we also still have McIntyre, who is in P6, and Long, who is still currently slugging it out still, P7. So at the very least, say these guys, persistence pays. At least got them a top 10. Not a what's it that I like to say in football when winning ugly? Well, you're doing it ugly, but hey, you're doing it nevertheless.
Yeah. I mean, an ugly win is still a win.
Keith Long is coming back out again. I've lost track of how many times he's come back out, but the Iron Man keeps going.
You got to give him credit for his sheer dogged determination tonight. It really can be inspiring. It's one of those things where the driver you expected to be done and dusted for a long time, he still keeps going. He may not win the race in the process, but he's saying, hey, I am here and I can keep this car somewhat relevant.
I think everyone in chat, for the sake of Keith Long, let's root this guy home. He's not going to complete the 500 miles, but we want him to see the checkered flag at the end of this race. If anyone driver that could have probably punched out and quit a long time ago, it's this guy. So let's cheer this guy on and see if we can't get him to the end of this race.
Mitchell McIntyre is back on track as well. 17 laps down is that number 9 Vodafone McLaren Mercedes schemed number 9 machine.
He is loose. We're riding on board with him right now. Again, he is loose. Super loose.
Loose from a wound, it looks like. And he's still going to keep that going and move up to 6th ahead of James Ellis, who's still officially scored in position number 6 right now, despite being out of the race.
So that's when you're that loose, that's when you go 6-1 on the bars, -20, and you force the car absolutely to do everything in its power to push.
Yes.
Actually, with this set, I don't think you would want -20. It would probably cause the right rear to ground in the corners.
Yeah, that's you were
hit
talking.
6 on the ARB, but yeah.
Let's talk about that. You got a chance to. You were in the pre-show. You were talking about how they've changed the race set before, and the reason why they changed the race set is why. Well, besides it not being good, but why did they change the race set?
Yeah, well, it was very bad. We've had like so iRacing has their setups they provide, and the one for Indy for the last few months has just been, I would call it undrivable in traffic, or at least unraceable. You would get just a conga line, impossible to follow within a second of anybody else. And it just was not very fun. It didn't produce a good show, so iRacing thankfully updated the setup at the start of this week for the race. Obviously couldn't change it for qualifying, but that was all right. So now it's a lot better overall. We've seen this race. It's these guys are able to follow closer and make some moves and set up passes. So it's promising. Hopefully tomorrow in the big show with the top split race where it races really well and puts on hopefully it's just fun to watch, even if it's not necessarily as fun to drive as some other sets we've had in the past. As long as it races well, it's good in my book.
All right. Yeah, I think you were originally telling us that there was a part of the underbody, the under tray, was rubbing.
Yeah. So in clean air, at least, I took a look at telemetry before this race after doing a few laps, and you can see the front of the car is scraping the ground in the corners, which you can get away with a little bit of that, but it's a lot more than you would probably want. So you need to be careful with what tools you're using. If you use a softer front anti-roll bar, you're going to get more roll in the front through the corners, and that's going to cause it to hit ground out even more. Oh, Bustamante just
the wall. Something happened. I don't know if that was VR or wheel gave out or something, but it was just instantly into the wall.
I mean, it looks like he fell asleep almost, but...
Oh my goodness. The dominant car of the day in the wall unless that was technical related, just a sheer error. Unbelievable.
I mean, he's got a car in front of him that was probably giving him aero push. We saw that giving him issues a little bit earlier. Here he comes into the corner. Whoa. It's like... Let's watch that again. It just the car goes straight. It doesn't begin to turn where he's a full car length past where we would normally begin to turn in and then arc down. It's like he turned the wheel and nothing happened on his wheel set and his wheelbase, and then finally all of a sudden the game took over. But that is well, anything could happen still in this race. We've seen that, but I think his chances here for a win might be done, and it just dropped into Devin Chase's lap at the moment. But we've seen Devin Chase struggle.
Like a wheel failure for him.
Yeah, we've seen Devin Chase struggle with a loose race car. Stephen Brooks is 2 laps behind him. Stephen Brooks is faster than him at the moment. Brooks is a 41.3 versus a 41.7 last time. Chase into the wall, kissing it a little bit.
Fellas, please. Yeah, there's a little nudge there, but people, please. We're only 3/4 of the way through. You have an Indy 500 win on the cards, my guys. Don't throw it away.
So yeah, here's Stephen Brooks, and that's not a battle for position. That is to get back on the lead lap, and Brooks that time by a 41.3 versus a 41.7. So Brooks is faster than he is 2 laps down actually, but he'll get another lap back here once he passes Chase. And the way Chase keeps bouncing his car off the wall, he might end up making that other lap up pretty easily. We'll see. We now have entered the last 50 laps of this Indy 500.
Amazing. And what's quite amazing, out of 32 drivers that started this split, out of all of them, 7 are left on the server. just 7, and only 1 is on the lead lap, that being the 19 of Devin Chase. But I will say that I will definitely agree with you. Steven Brooks looks to be a bit quicker right now. Of course, he's got to have a lot of things play in his favor to get himself up to a winning position.
Bustamante is leaving pit lane. He's back out. 3 laps down currently.
Hopefully he got his wheel reset properly here. He's still in P3 right now. Danny Dodgems is the next driver behind him. So
Dodgems he's looking at a bottom step of the podium right now.
Amazing. And Dodgems was involved in an incident earlier himself, though I think we're hard-pressed to find anyone so far that hasn't been involved in some sort of incident tonight.
So I was getting ready to say earlier that it is not strange to have 500s that have had 7 cars or less than 10 cars finish the 5. It's strange to have, of course, 7 cars running with 50 to go. We've seen 500-mile races with as little as 6 running at the end. Granted, a lot of those were at Michigan, but there have been times where there's only been 10 cars running in Indianapolis at the end or less.
I think another one of those was at Fontana.
Yeah, that's true, and so there's nothing new about that. So when you look at the results and say, well, only 6 cars finished, go back and look at some real IndyCar statistics from the 500 in the past, from the 70s and the 80s. You're going to see that there's been times where 10 cars or less have finished the 500. So the fact that the 10 cars or less finished the 500 here is not indicative of any way of because it's lower split. It just, it happens. That's kind of simply the way it works out to be. But we're watching Danny Dodgems as he's coming up on Keith Long. Keith just might want to pull out of the way and let Danny on by. Danny staying super low. And he was wanting to give all the room in the world to that one.
Got incredibly squirrely in the process, though. That almost cost him the race car right there as he looks to the inside in turn number 1 and does make that pass.
Oh, he slides up in front of him. Oh, you saw that starting to happen when he went down underneath the white line and almost hit that concrete from where the rumble strips used to be. You saw the car kind of unload a little bit, but he was able to hold on and pull up in front of Long, not make contact. Now Long, in 3 more laps, he passes Mitchell McIntyre, and he will move up in the P6.
Very, very true. It's basically just keep it going, and you'll have yourself an even better result just by the merit of just keeping on the track. And that's certainly what Keith Long is looking to do. He has scored 31 laps down at this point, but he will have... Yeah, he'll be P6 here.
Yeah, he can get to P6, and if there's any other issues here in the next 20 laps or so, he might be able to get around the next person. But then after that, he's going to run out of time just because he's so far behind. After about lap 1, if there's no other further retirements up until lap 170, he will be. Vosel is on pit road. See, this is a scheduled stop for him.
Steven Brooks is about to make a pass to get one of his laps back.
Yeah,
yeah, he's been stuck behind Chase for a couple laps now. If I were him, I'd go for it, get around him, so if a caution does come out, you get at least one of those laps back.
And I think he does have the quicker car at this point too.
Yeah, this time by Chase, 42.6. But also Brooks kind of stuck there with a 42.6. And if I was Chase, I would not make it easy for him. I would say, hey, this guy is P2. He is 2 laps behind me. I'm not going to make it any easy for him to get this lap back. He doesn't have to.
Of course, there's no obligation. Not like him. Of course, this is like the opposite of what we normally see, where the lead lap car is trying to put lap cars behind them, and they get angry because they're not being helpful to them. Well, in this case, Devin Chase, the car in front, is the race leader, and Brooks looking to ride in his slipstream right now.
Brooks, we're looking at the in-car of Brooks, and Brooks had a run and could have and actually exited the corner in 6th gear. So he's not even in a racing gear. He's in the draft gear, and he had a run and just kind of rolled out of it.
He might be saving. at least in terms of laps, he lost pit, looks like 135. So, I mean, it's not great, but you can make it from there. So he would need to save it. So maybe that's what he's going for. And then as soon as Chase pits or he has to pit, they'll get separated and but he can maybe run away. But honestly, it'd be more important to me at least to get those laps back now when you can.
Yeah.
You have that opportunity.
Yeah, you have that under your own control. Keith Long moves up to P6 as the last car on the racetrack at the moment. Go right along with Brooks here, going down the back stretch, 5/8 of a mile, each one of these stretches, into turn 3. This is the north entrance of the racetrack. Into turn 4, right beyond the turn 4 grandstands there, is the Indianapolis Coca-Cola bottler, what they call the Coke lot, down the front stretch here. Opposite Georgetown Road. Going into turn 1, and right there behind turn 1. Into the inside.
A little squeamish.
Oh, catch it. There it goes.
Catch it. Beautiful job there by Stephen Brooks. It cost him all that time, though. That has got to be annoying, but well done to Brooks to keep that car underneath him.
I think we know why he was just staying behind Chase. Needed that dirty air on his wing to keep the car stable. Wow.
And it's funny because normally normally we think that the opposite would be the thing you want to do. You want to be in clean air for stability, and if you're running in the draft, you're either saving, well, of course, a lot of people would be, but you're saving fuel or you're trying to just like biding your time on that sort of thing. But here, it seems like it's the preferred option for a lot of people on worn tires.
Now, Bustamante's unlapping himself on Brooks, and he'll get a lap back on Chase very soon, too, most likely.
Yeah, he looks like Brooks just moved to the inside there. We're still riding along the in-car. Brooks just moved the inside, let Bustamante go on the outside. And he might be able to get a little bit of balance out of his car with the dirty air in front of him.
Bustamante still looks to be the fastest car on the circuit right now. Turning lap times in the 42s. Chase is in the 43s. Brooks had a 45, but of course he was trying to recover from that little moment there. So Chase with a 43.3. Bustamante with a 42.1. Brooks with a 42.8.
And you can see Brooks is still loose on corner exit of 1. I gotta wonder, I mean, where is he? I mean, you can't see where he is on the tools from our in-car camera. It doesn't show us that, but I gotta wonder where he is and if there's something that he can do to change, or he just is not sure on what to do other than not turn the wheel as much and get the car loose.
That could well be. Of course, the IndyCar can be a very different kettle of fish to a lot of newcomers than what they may expect. Oh, side by side there is Bustamante just squeezes by Devin Chase. I think Devin Chase was not keen to let him go there, but Bustamante forces his way through to gain one of his laps back, now 3 laps down. But a lot of these drivers are probably not used to the idea of making in-car adjustments. And if you're just coming out from a D-Class series, the closest thing you could probably imagine something like this would be the USF 2000 car. And of course, that's a fixed setup series in its own right. And the times that they are on ovals, there really aren't many adjustments you can make. I think the only proper one would be the brake bias.
Yeah, I think that's really the, and even when you get into the stock cars, and I know you do a great deal of stock car racing, Alex, about the only in-car change you can make on those is the brake bias.
Yeah, that's right. At least in a fixed setup setting, you can, if you have an open setup, you can make adjustments in the pit stops.
Sure,
yeah.
Fixed, yeah.
Yeah,
here
a lot
with
of it's driving.
Yeah, with Bustamante, it made a weird entrance into 3 there. Almost got down. I think he did get to the grass. But yeah, here in the fixed series, if you're not familiar with it, unlike the DW12 and the IR05, which are the 2 older versions of the IndyCar, when you're in a fixed setup race with those, you are locked in. You do not have the front roll bar. You don't have the rear roll bar. You don't even have. I think you. Well, I keep getting confused. You might have brake bias because I know on the.
They do.
Bustamante into the wall off of exit off the exit of corner 2 for some reason. He might be again having wheel issues again. I know on the Lotus 79 they just introduced brake bias to the fixed setup there, but no weight jacker, nothing. Every engine mapping is set. You can't change any of that. With the IR18 with the fixed setup, and this is something within the last year and a half, really. My understanding is they made available is you can then use the front and rear roll bar. You can change the engine mapping. You can change the brake bias. You can, change a number of things that were fixed before. You could do that in the car, and it makes these fixed races a little bit interesting because if you find the right combination or you know what you're doing to pilot your car, you could really set yourself out and above, beyond everyone else if you know how to operate those tools to your advantage. And if you're not familiar with it, sitting into one of these cockpits, it looks like a jet fighter. You even have a canopy over you, for gosh sakes. So to see all these extra levers and knobs and buttons and everything, I guess it could be quite intimidating. That's maybe why we don't see more drivers. Loose Bustamante off of 1. He captures it back up on a 2.
And he's going to catch Brooks, who's leaving the pits on fresh tires.
Yeah, but I gotta. Yeah, I'm having more faith in Brooks though, with the command of his car with fresh tires than I do of Bustamante with where he currently is in his run. He is now 15 laps into his current stint, and he's having a hard time, and he's right down on the rumble strips that time through turn 4, but he makes it through. Here comes Devin Chase
coming in.
But this is now he's really going to have to conserve fuel to get to the end.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be possible. There's not for 34 laps you need people in front of you. There's just no way to do it in clean air. So it'll be either.
I think the only way will be a caution.
Yeah. Well, several cautions, I think.
Well, he only needs 3 laps of fuel to get to the good here, right? Because we're coming up 4 laps. Yeah. So for every laps of caution, how many laps are you actually saving? Is it 2?
No, it's less than that. You don't save quite a full lap. It's every 2 laps of caution you save like a lap and a half of fuel.
Maybe just like at least 1 caution, maybe. But if he got to 170, he was probably good to go. But he's going to be short. He'll have to nurse it if he doesn't want to stop for a stop and go at the end. Or a splash and go in that case. Here comes Stephen Brooks at full song. He's going to tuck in behind him and draft off him.
Brooks looking to take this chance. There he goes down to the low side. So give back one of those laps back to Stephen Brooks.
That'll Brooks a lap down.
Yeah, that might be lead lap for him.
No, he's on the tail. He's +1 right now at the moment on timing and scoring.
Yeah, he is 1 lap down. But still, regardless, with Devin Chase needing to pit pretty soon, and Devin Chase needing to pit at some point, barring a yellow, of course. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out for both Brooks and Bustamante.
Yeah, Brooks still has a pit too. I don't think anybody, the next person that pits, which is Long, he's on 27 laps on his current stint. He'll be done. He'll be good to the finish. Bustamante, when he needs to stop still, Dodgems needs to stop still, and Vogel needs to stop still. But once they all stop, they're done. So Chase and Brooks still need to do a splash and go or save a ton of fuel.
Meanwhile, I see Keith Long letting Danny Dodgems go around him. Of course, Keith Long, mobile laps down. He's actually making the move on the pit road. Dodgems in 4th position, 4 laps down. And really, the top 5 are still definitely the closest ones together. We have a 1-lap lead for Devin Chase over Brooks. Bustamante's 3 laps down to the leader. Dodgems 4. And Christian Vosel is 6 laps down in P5.
Yeah, Keith Long still might need to stop again. He might be sporting some excess drag on that car because of all the damage he's been through. But he probably will have to maybe make 1 more stop before he can get to the end. He's right at 170, but I think with all the drag that he's producing, he might need a splash and go to complete the distance. But back up front, here is your leader, Devin Chase. He is on a lap all of his own, lap 170. Right in front of him is P2. That's Steven Brooks. And is now 1 lap behind the leader.
And Chase, not sure if he wants to get that and put himself 2 laps down once more. Actually, yes, he does. He's looking down to the low side right now, and not quite enough to make it work. But Devin, the key thing right now, don't throw the car away.
Yeah, exactly.
This is your 500 to lose right now.
Doing a little bit of a weaving, doing a little bit of a snake on the backstretch. Not sure why.
Ooh, Devin Chase throws a dummy pass on him there, but not quite enough to make it work. This is pretty bold for a guy who has a 1-lap lead, trying to put this guy 2 laps down right now. I am not sure if I'd be this brave at this point.
Yeah, now I think he's just a little pissed off. Patience, Padawan.
Patience.
Oh, Brooks keeps it off the wall.
Whoa. Impatient you seem to be.
There seems to be a lot of that right now, and it's like Bustamante is following the draft like it's we're in the last 10 laps and he's got a shot here. Frankly, the way things have unfolded today, he might have a shot. A lot of stuff can still happen. We're less than 30 to go. These 3 still are going to have to stop one more time before getting to the end.
Strange things have happened before, and I'm keeping an eye, of course, on Brooks and Bustamante for their pit stops. And at this point, as we cross, as we are well and truly into the final pit window, these guys can come in at any time, and they will have the fuel to make it to the end.
Yeah, good to go to the end. If they want to do a short stop now, they can do it.
Yeah, so 1 stop for everybody in the top 3.
Definitely at this point. I'm not sure about Dodgems and Vozol. Call them Danny Dodgers. I love that. I'll get that little nickname for him there.
Yeah, it looks like Dodgems pit about 15 laps ago, so he will also have at least 1 more stop.
Yeah, and
same for Vozol.
Yeah, and same for Vozol as well. So it's these 2nd and 3rd place guys that are going to be coming in soon. And they'll be...
They're trying. I mean, they're turning 42-second laps. They're trying to save. Yeah. We'll give you an idea. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you. We'll give you an idea of what speeds they're turning. Chase, 213. Brooks, 211. Bustamante, 212. Dodgems, 212. Vozol, 214. He's the fastest car on the racetrack at the moment. Long, 205. Going McIntyre, last his recorded speed is 155, but they're normally they'd be a little bit closer to 219, 220 in race trim. So they're definitely trying. They're definitely trying.
No doubt about that. It's really interesting to see that the simple fact of the matter is this isn't for track position, so they're fighting each other over something that really wouldn't matter too terribly much at the end of the day. Of course, track position is really a good and would be a good thing to have. Oh, Devin Chase ran way up high there in turn number 4, came close to the wall there, gathered it up. But I think right now the good call would be to just not worry too much about your mirrors right now. And if they do catch you, just play a little cooperative right now.
Yeah, let them go. Let them go.
Yeah, Devin Chase has been getting a little loose on entry on some of these corners.
He definitely is.
Let's go ahead and pop in the in-car here to right above the head of Devin Chase, turning in. Down the white line there in turns 3. Just above the white line in turn 4. Right out to the wall. He had to roll out of that one.
I will say this, I'll genuinely be shocked if there is a car still left with no incident points.
I don't know if I don't have an incident count. I don't know if you can see that right now, but is there anyone with no 0?
No, I don't.
Well, it would have to be who was it? Ronald Hall 6, who did not take the green flag, so there's no way he had incident points. Right, I don't think he joined the server at all.
Okay, yeah, that's probably fair. Shame for him, though, his Indy 500 quest ended before it even started.
Well, you know, he wouldn't be the first driver to ever have that happen to him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and as somebody just pointed out, we are, with less than 25 laps to go, Keith Long can no longer gain any positions, so he is guaranteed to finish 6th place at this point.
There he goes. Keith Long is locked into that 6th spot. Hey, he might just want to park it and watch.
Maybe, but if he's gone on for this long, I think it'll be only fitting for him to actually take the checkered flag. Ooh, he came very close to the wall there.
And he's right up in front of our leader here, so we're going to stay along with our leader. Leader's having a heck of a time off of corner number 4. Not sure what the difficulty there is.
He's even trying to break the draft on Bustamante still.
Now, I've seen people wreck themselves in practice doing that weaving, so these guys got to be careful.
Yeah.
I don't know, the setup is just a little unstable when you get those oscillations.
And now Bustamante pulls right up alongside the 19 to unlap himself here. Will he get clear of him? Yes, he will.
Just let him go.
Yeah, Devin, this is your race, man. Just take it easy at this point. These are not worth anything to you. Even at this point with Bustamante now. Oh, now he comes in. Bustamante now coming in for his pit stop. And Stephen Brooks staying out.
Make his pit stop. This is good to go to the end. So, critical thing here, not the speed. Not the speed. You need to hit your marks, not waste any time. In fact, being that he's 3 laps down, he doesn't really have time to spend or time to spare, but the likelihood of him getting those laps back based on this really means he doesn't make any mistakes, and he misses his spot.
Oh, dear. Is still gonna get his service done, down and away. And he will be good to go to the end. We're waiting on Stephen Brooks. He stays out for this lap, but now Devin Chase working his way around Keith Long to put him now 33 laps down to the race lead in P6.
And we're just looking out the back of Bustamante there, and I believe we see Devin Chase. Yeah, and Stephen Brooks coming up on him.
And Brooks still seems to be determined to get past him, even though Brooks still has to pit one more time, and the same with Chase. It's still very much Chase's race to lose at this point, but Brooks seems determined to stay with him, whether it be for stability reasons of his own car or just to get his lap back. I'll let you be the judge.
Here are the best laps of the day. Bustamante at 220.1, Dodgems at 220.2. Hager at 220.3 earlier in the race. So some fast laps there. Margula had the fastest lap of the day. He's not even on the racetrack anymore. Going to finish in 10th spot and finishes with the purple lap at a 220.9. That is your fastest lap of the day here as we're down to less than 20 to go. And Chase is determined to knock down the turn 4 wall.
Christian Vossel has just made his final stop and come out right behind Brooks and Chase. So he's currently 7 laps down, so maybe if somebody up front makes a mistake, he can get something else out of this, but we'll see.
Yep. Still a strong top 5 running for Christian Vossel, despite a connection failure early on in the race.
Yeah, that's got to be the one that stings the most, is the connection failure. Really, Vossel has about 10 laps to go before his race effectively is finished. He'll want to finish it out, of course, but he will not. In about 10 laps, he won't be able to make up any other positions if something happens to one of the leaders in front of him.
Here comes Brooks, maybe? Nope, still staying behind.
Brooks having a peak, perhaps not quite enough. Devin Chase covers that lower line there. But Brooks still seems like he wants that lap back. And if I'm Devin Chase at this point, I'm half tempted to just let him go at this stage because, frankly, it's of little consequence to me at this point. He has to pit, and so do I as well at the end of this race.
Yeah. And again, Brooks, man, Devin Chase again on the exit of turn 4. Brooks isn't even shifting gears. He is staying in 6th gear. He gets a good run down the end of the straight, but he just has to roll out of it. And then he just doesn't have the revs to stick with him. Although this time he seems to be doing a pretty good job. He might take a shot at him here at the end of the backstretch. Let's see.
Let's see this time there. Will that help him out here? Chase weaving, trying to prevent him from going by here. I would definitely be hesitant to do this sort of thing in this position. I have a 2-lap lead. This really doesn't matter to me at this point, especially since...
Oh, here he goes. He's got to run. He's got to run.
Now he looks to the inside.
Yeah, inside. And he just doesn't have the pole.
Not quite enough, but here comes Volzel on fresh tires down to the low side. Not quite enough to stick it there. And now Devin Chase sees this. He's probably like, I gotta be a little bit nervous at this situation right now if I'm being this aggressive. And now he's still trying to defend. Volzel looking to the high side now going into turn 3.
Just let him go, Devin. Let him
go.
go.
And none of it's for position.
Let him go, Devin.
I would say, imagine if this was for position. That probably would be the case if Volzel didn't have that connection failure earlier. But this is just Volzel 7 laps down, trying to make it 6. And if I'm Devin, I really don't like being this aggressive when there's really nothing to gain out of it. And he does clear him this time.
Yeah, he just needs to let him go. There's no reason to fight for that position. There's no reason to defend. There's no reason to weave. There's no reason to impede the guy behind you. Just let the guy go. You're now 13 laps away from seeing victory in the Indy 500. That's the #1 priority at this point. If he had a spotter, if he had a real spotter, a real crew chief, they'd be in his ear big time right now saying, let the dude go. Just maintain your laps, hit your marks, give him positive reinforcement, and get him home for these next 13, now 12 laps.
Yeah, we do not want him to be a statistic of the likes of Robbie Gordon in the Cup Series at Sonoma that one time where he was worried about a lap car of Kevin Harvick and then allowed Tony Stewart to get by him and win the race. We definitely don't want that happening to Devin right now.
We've seen a number of cars in the recent Indianapolis 500 history that led with 10 to go that didn't win the race. So don't be one of those virtual statistics on top of the actual statistics. Bring the car home. That is your only priority. Bring the car home. Pull over. Let Brooks go. Let Brooks go.
Now he lets Brooks go. Good call there for Devin Chase. Let Steven Brooks go. He's still a lap down to you. You have nothing to fear. And we're nearing the 10 lap to go mark. You have, my friend, an Indy 500 win on the cards. All you have to do is just bring it home.
Yeah, still have a stop to go. Brooks is now 24 laps into his current stint, so he's going to have to stop probably in the next 6 laps or so.
And Brooks is not in a position I would savor right now. Like, I know a second place finish could be a good result in any other race. You want that win, though. But Brooks Brooks is really in the catbird seat to take advantage if Chase does indeed make a fatal error. So if I'm Brooks at this point, again, I would still just want to get the car to the end of the race.
End to go.
It'll be 10 to go this time by for Devin Chase.
The drivers in the history of IndyCar racing we've seen leading with 10 to go that didn't get that win.
The one that immediately springs to mind to me is J.R. Hildebrand in 2011. In fact, I have a really, really funny story regarding that particular race. I was watching that race in my living room, and my friend comes over who doesn't know anything about racing, and he's just watching the race. He sees J.R. Hildebrand leading, and just off the cuff, he says, I think he's going to crash. And we all know what happened on the final lap when he
Yes.
tried to get around Charlie Kimball. Has an unfortunate meeting with the turn 4 wall and hands the win over to the Lionheart himself, Dan Weldon.
Yeah, we've seen a number of drivers leading within 10 to go who haven't won the race. Marco Andretti. We've seen in the past. Stephen Wilson was pretty close a couple years ago towards the end of the race there. We've seen Sebastian Bourdais leading with less than 10 laps. Oriol Servia with less than 10 laps to go. Who else we've seen with less than 10 laps to go leading, having to pit. I believe even Lionheart himself a couple times was leading with 10 laps to go. Danica Patrick led.
Yeah, Danica Patrick, I was going to say.
Less than 10 laps to go. So a number
in that
of
very
drivers,
same 2011 race.
Yeah, a number of drivers, and here he comes. Here he is. All he needed to do
Final
is
stop
hit
for
his
Devin
mark
Chase.
and not speed. He's on pit road. He's past the cones. He's on the limiter. All he needs to do is top it off and make these final 9 laps. Now, it takes about 5 seconds to change tires on the cars anyway. So, is he going to go ahead and change tires to boot or just go get a top off? Nope, going to get a top off. Nope, tires going up on jacks. They're going to put new tires on the car. Probably not a bad idea with the way that we've seen him act with older tires. Just get new tires on the car, bring it home as safely as possible. He crosses the start-finish line, and now he has less than 8 laps to go as he's bringing the car up to speed.
And Stephen Brooks is in as well.
Yep. As we come to the end of the race, congratulations to Christopher Demerit for winning the first top split race of the weekend.
Right.
And also congratulations to race first commentator Nicholas Sudik for getting a top 5 in the top split.
Well done to both of them.
And I'll tell you what, Nick was sweating before that race. So for him to get a top 5, congratulations, man. Congratulations. I got a top 5 in my only race last year, and that felt like winning to me. So
They usually do. And getting the car to the end of a 500-mile race, it can definitely take a lot out of you. You feel like you're in agony at the end of it, but if it's a win or even a top 5, it's a good kind of agony, as strange as that may be to say for some.
there you see the gaps between all of the cars. Chase has a 1-lap lead over Brooks. Brooks with a lap lead over Bustamante. Dodgems is 2 laps behind Bustamante. Vogel 1 lap behind Dodgems.
Keith Long just got loose out of turn 4 and almost hit the attenuator. So
Keith Long?
He's still going.
He's still
Keith
going.
Long.
The hands of this guy. But you gotta stand up and be proud of this guy. At a point where so many others would have just quit, Keith Long keeps that number 2 machine going and running in 6th place. He may be 32 laps down, but it's still a 6th place finish in the Indy 500. If that ain't a sign that this man is determined to finish this race come hell or high water, I don't know what is. I gotta be proud of him for that.
Maybe we see him in a top split fixed race here in the next year or so as he gets his I rating and his license up.
That determination makes champions. But coming now to 5 laps to go for Devin Chase. He has had the car to beat all throughout pretty much the second half of this race after Bustamante's penalty. And it has been...
Keith Long in the grass.
Oh!
He saves it. He's still on track.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he just gets loose coming off a 3 there, and
that
at
was,
this point...
I think, wasn't that right in front of, I was right in front of Brooks and Bustamante, I think. So,
yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, so Long is on pit road, going to run it down pit road, maybe make one more stop, throw on another set of tires, and just try to nurse it to the end. But 5 laps to go here in the fixed Indy 500, now 4 laps to go. So it's a qualification run for Devin Chase. Keep her off the walls, hit your marks. That's all you have to do for the next 10 miles.
Clear track in front of you. It's a great feeling, especially when you're leading at Indianapolis. And Devin Chase, I gotta say, despite the hair-raising moments he's had where I may have been questioning how aggressive he's been lately, to put it simply, Devin Chase has done a lot of things right tonight, and it's proven that it's been a race of survival of the fittest in many ways. Devin Chase has been that fittest in many ways. I mentioned before at the top of the program that one of my big keys is minimizing errors. Make sure that you keep the car underneath you, you nail your pit stops, you avoid penalties whenever you can, and you'll get a good result. Even in higher split races, I've found that to be the case. But down here at bottom split especially, it's giving Devin Chase a win here tonight in 2 laps time if he keeps it together. Two laps to go now for Devin Chase. Stephen Brooks. Looks like Stephen Brooks just taking it easy at this point. I'm looking at speed traps there. He's just down to 215 right now. He's just coasting. He knows he's got a second place in the bag, and the same can be said for Bustamante as well in P3. Everyone knows that they're in a good position. Those that are still running, those that didn't survive, we salute you, but 6 cars are left running of the 32 that took the green flag, and of them leading right now, taking the white flag, is Devin Chase. 1 more to go, and you, Devin Chase, have an Indy 500 win. We're 1 and 2 for the last time. Smooth sailing, it seems. And on fresh tires, he's got to love the feeling. It's with a car that at least is more drivable compared to what he was dealing with earlier. A little bit of a victory weave already, perhaps on the back stretch, it looks like.
I would say let's not do the Isaac Morris weave yet, seeing how this race has worked its way out yet. But here he comes off of corner number 4. Survival of the fittest. Devin Chase has chased his way all the way to a 500-mile victory win.
Beautifully done. It was a long, arduous grind, and he comes away with the biggest prize he could have asked for tonight. Stephen Brooks working his way through 3 and 4. Bustamante taking P3 right now, 2 laps down, and Stephen Brooks will be P2 tonight. Danny Dodgems in 4th, Christian Volzel in 5th, and Keith Long actually makes it to the checkered flag, 33 laps down in a wounded race car, to put it bluntly, in P6.
We should definitely give the man a round of applause. Wow. Wow. All right. Well, I doubt we're going to have any post-race interviews because I don't think very many people knew that we would be doing this race. I'm going to check just to be sure. No, I don't think I have any post-race interviews. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Dakota because I know that you have a bit of a trip tomorrow you need to do down to Indianapolis to see the GP. We'll give you your final thoughts and let you go for the night. What your thoughts on the race and everything, and any final thoughts before we let you go?
That was somehow better yet worse than what I was expecting with the way the attrition worked out there. But all in all, I'm glad that we didn't see any checkups on a restart. We didn't see any bad rejoins. For the most part, nothing really, against the sporting code here. No intentional wrecks. So I'm really happy about how this race turned out. There were actually a couple of drivers that had 0 incident points. Stephen Brooks,
wow,
finished second. He had 0, and then Wayland Miller, he still had 0. Monty Beller, he was running second when he just parked it, but yeah, he had 0 as well. So kudos to every driver that finished tonight. That's Yeah, especially for Keith Long for keeping it in for how long he did. Only 7 cautions. Last year bottom split had 12 cautions, so this is quite an improvement. So yeah, all in all, this was a fun night to watch.
So Monday night, fixed Indy for you. Will we be seeing you there, or gonna take that one off? I know it's gonna be tough for you not to miss Indianapolis, though.
Oh yeah, I'll be there for sure.
All right, there you go. Well, we will see you Monday night. If you want to go ahead and drop off, and so you can get your beauty, get on the road here down to see. To truly see if Matt Houston really exists, go right ahead.
Yes.
We understand it's been a long night, so thanks for joining us, man. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you certainly in a later broadcast and offline for sure. So thanks a lot, man. Have a good night.
Guys. Thank you. Take care, guys.
Alex, this is your first time. There were probably other races that would have been better for your first time, but still not a bad race in terms of giving positive feedback to a lot of these guys. Your thoughts on tonight, and then your thoughts on your campaign starting tomorrow at 1:00.
Yeah, no, this was a lot of fun, and I totally agree with Dakota. The racing was way better than I expected it would be. It was these drivers. They definitely learned a lot throughout the race about how to handle the car in the long run, how to bring it home and keep it clean when you're running behind somebody else. And you could really see that improvement. So that was actually really cool to see. So really happy for the people that finished. Sad for the people that didn't. Kudos again to Keith Long for bringing it home. That was frankly inspirational. But yeah, for tomorrow, it's going to be fun. Going to be starting on the last row most likely. So that'll be an interesting challenge. I've had in my last few Indy 500s, I've had the benefit of starting in the top 10. So this will be something else. I got a lot of work to do, but really excited for it, and yeah, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, you don't need to hear that stat of how many people come from the last row.
Yeah, don't tell me, please.
Yeah, that's okay. Hey, you know what? You know what, though? There's a first time for everything. So, congratulations on making the top split, first of all. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, and best of luck to you tomorrow. And if you need to blow out of here, fully understand, and we'll definitely catch you in a later race and offline for sure.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you so much for having me on here. It was a blast.
No problem. We'll do it again.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, take care.
Take care. Well, to my regular Monday night buddy, we kind of did like 6 races all at once tonight for 500 miles.
I think
we saw a bit of a 4 of them. Yeah, there you go. Math isn't my thing, not right now. Not at 12 a.m. Eastern time. But
can't
still,
say I blame you.
Your thoughts on tonight? I kind of agree with the other guys. Hey, look, it looked a lot worse than what it was. But as we got to the end, it was really not that bad to see, who could survive. And I know Devin Chase so desperately wanted to knock down that turn 4 wall a couple times there toward the end. You just knew it wasn't over, but you couldn't. You just didn't want to turn away because you knew it was important to watch. So, your thoughts on the bottom split, their performance, and then I guess to talk about your race tomorrow. So first tonight, and then your race tomorrow.
Well, for the race tonight, it was certainly chaotic as I expected it to be. It's kind of par for the course, not just for bottom split Indy 500, but for the Indy 500 in general. I've seen this quite a few times, even in higher splits, where the first quarter of a race especially is especially chaotic with quite a few yellows, while everyone who is maybe not too familiar with the IndyCar, who doesn't race it as much as the regulars do, they sort of get shuffled around and maybe get involved in a few incidents. And then afterwards, the race is relatively clean. And in principle, we did see that tonight. It cleared out a lot more cars than you would see in a higher split, of course. There were only 6 still running when the checkered flag flew. But those that did make it through, they're the drivers who kept their head down. They stayed determined. They kept fighting. And also they were smart. They played it very cool for a lot of the race. I mean, sure, there were times where I was worried that that Devin would get so worried about the cars around him, he'd pull a Robbie Gordon on us. But overall, I was impressed with the performance of these bomb split guys here tonight. It was better than I feared it would be, but it still had the chaos that I came to expect. And with that, Devin has an Indy 500 win to his credit. I'm really happy for him. And also, of course, gotta hand it to the man who would not quit. Like that's a beautiful story in of itself. Keith Long is just, and Keith Long, like, you will be a legend in our eyes forevermore.
Well, it definitely brings new meaning to the word going long.
Yes,
for
it is.
This race, because he did everything in his crew, his virtual crew. I don't know. These cars do not like to be put back together. And I don't know how his car was put back together so many times with perfectly straight steering. So props to him for finishing sixth. We'll go over the top or the final standings here in just a minute. So your plan on the race tomorrow, what split do you think you'll be in? You're going to be in that 1 o'clock race, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I plan on doing the morning one as well. So with me qualifying 76th out of all the runners so far, I'll likely be third split, or either third or second. And looking around at the people I'm qualified around with, I'm in some pretty decent company. I see Chris Fowler, I see AJ Musselman, I see quite a few of them.
Fowler's a weapon, so be careful. But I trust Musselman. Just kidding, Chris. He's never going to
actually, no, my bad. Not Chris Fowler. Chris Stouffer, I should say.
Oh, Stouffer. Yeah, we know Stouffer. We'll race with him. Fowler's still a weapon. I stand by that comment.
And maybe if the cards play out correctly, a certain Alex Palou may make an appearance in my split. He qualified 62nd.
Wow. All right. Well, isn't he supposed to be in an IndyCar race tomorrow, though?
Point taken on that one. Maybe
we see him in the Sunday race. We don't know, but no, wait a minute.
He did the one tonight.
Wait a minute. So it's the Grand Prix on Sunday. Actually, that's the 320 on Sunday. So he should be qualifying tomorrow. So we'll see.
I think they qualified today. I believe Will Power is on pole position.
Anyways. No worries. Well, yeah, he might have some other business to attend to, but we'll see. It'll be always cool to race against one of the real IndyCar drivers and splits. Well, is there anything else that you want to talk about? Otherwise, we can just get on out of here because it's been a long night. I want to thank everybody for watching. Still got a couple people hanging on. Thank you very much, everybody, for commenting, hanging out, watching this. It wasn't quite the train wreck that everyone thought it would be. Actually turned out to be not so bad. Kind of hope we see some of these guys in the future in a higher split. Kind of hope some of these guys stick with the IndyCar and learn more about it. That way we can maybe potentially we'll see them in a race with one of us in the lineup. So we'll see that possibly going forward. But unless you got anything, we'll get on out of here.
I think I'm good to go, and it's time for me to get myself ready for a long day of driving tomorrow.
All right. Well, before we do need to do the final results. We'll give everybody their due that made this split. Devin Chase is your winner. He is the fixed Indy 500 champion for the bottom split. Stephen Brooks finished second. Diego Agustin Bustamante finished third. Danny Dodgems, probably the driver with the best name here. I don't know if that's his real name or not, but still P4. Christian Vosel, P5, Keith Long, our hero, P6, James Ellis, P7, Mitchell McIntyre, P8, Waylon Miller, P9, Peter Margola, P10. That rounds out your top 10. Your top 15, Travis Johnson, Cody Keller, Montebeller, Schuler, and Barwick. Your top 20, West, Bossler, James, Huschitz, I hope I'm saying that right, Hager. The top 25 is Corbett, Donoso, Carroll, Gorshals, and Portalisi. Your top 30 is Hartley, Freeman, Ashley, Gorshals, and Rescon. We had two Gorshals in this lineup, I just noticed now. We had one in 24th and one in 29th. I don't know if one was an alternate account or what. Interesting. And then rounding out the remainder of the field, Bradley Mays 31st, and Ronald Hall in 32nd. So we'll get on out of here. We want to thank everyone for joining. We will get you on your way for the remainder of your Saturday night, early Sunday morning. If you are running one of the races tomorrow, either the 9 a.m., the 1 p.m., good luck. On Sunday at the 9 a.m., good luck. I wish everybody good luck in their races coming up here in the coming weeks. And let's get on out of here. That's it for tonight. Once again, your podium for tonight's official fixed 500 bottom split is Evan Chase with the win, Stephen Brooks, P2, and Diego Bustamante, P3. Join myself and the boss man, Matt Houston, Sunday night, May 15th for Race First coverage of Round 2 of the Litz Race Series. Coming to you from the Daytona International Speedway GT Road Course. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern Time Sunday. Again, that is 7 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube at youtube.com/RaceFirst. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so please help support Race First with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you thought of today's race. And if you enjoyed today's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. Just like this. Bam. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out on more Race versus iRacing programming. So keep your browser set here for the most in-depth knowledge, IndyCar knowledge on all of iRacing. Race First, hey, we talked about it before. We know what Indy means. For business inquiries and to learn more about Race First and what we do, visit racefirst.com or follow us on Twitter. You can follow all of us on Twitter via our handles right here at the bottom of the screen. We'll throw a couple of those up here for you. Here is our IIS Twitter handles. Boom, right there. And here are our Monday Night Indy Fix handles right there. Feel free to follow us. We would enjoy it. So for Stephen Larkamp, Dakota DeMate, Alex Vanisant, everyone at Race First, I'm Gary Gatto saying to all, good night. Thanks for watching, and to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Good luck to everybody on their 500s when they run them tomorrow and on Sunday. Other than that, good night. Thanks for watching.